Missing? That's our big question to open the show. Bump and I live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center. We've got Seahawks mini camp later today. We're going to have an interview for you guys ready tomorrow, a short show. The Mariners are going to have a matinee series finale against the Diamondbacks, hopefully. Looking for a series win in that one, but you're going to have to win tonight against the Diamondbacks. Game one, a loss. Is there anything you liked from the game before we keep it moving to our big question, Bump?
Anything I like. I like that the little homies came through, man.
Okay.
You know, more walks. He's not a little homie, but the ninth inning, right? It's about the ninth inning. More walks, he gets on base. Solano hits a single, he scores. And now the little homies show up. Young single score, Solano, and then Canzone, first game back from Tacoma, hits a bomb and ties this game up and sends it into extras. That's really about it when it comes to this game. It was tough to watch for a while. And I was sitting there watching the game with my buddy. And he's like, it's not over. It's not over. I go, man, it's a wrap. This game is over, man. I'm going to start my prep for the next day. And then those events start to happen, and everyone gets excited. We'll say, okay, we're back in this thing. Just get it to extras, and let's see what happened. But, yeah, that's about it. They're 3 for 18 with runners in score position. You got 12 hits, only produced 4 runs. Oh. And I thought about what Dan said a few days ago. He goes, oh, yeah, we had traffic, and we just couldn't drive them in. That game, they didn't have traffic. I'm like, oh, damn, what are you doing? What are you talking about? But this game, they actually did have some traffic and weren't able to get them in. 10 left on base. So it was depressing, but I was happy that there was some fight towards the end of the game.
Yeah, it was one of those games where on paper, like if you didn't watch a second of this game and you didn't have context of them having prior to their series finale against the Angels been on a 5-game skid, you'd go, 4 runs, that's average.
Yeah.
12 hits, I like that. Left runners on, okay.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, and then, wait, you're telling me 4 runs came on the Angels' final hit of the game, that grand slam? I feel okay, or not the Angels, the Diamondbacks. I feel okay. A loss is never great, but, like, on paper, this isn't atrocious. However, it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel, like, fully acceptable. It feels heartless, and it feels not quite gutting, but just, blech. Like, you're just devoid of emotion because it's so unfortunately familiar in the way that the Mariners have lost games before. And I hate that about it. So what are the Mariners missing? Feel free to approach this question any way you want. You can chime in on the text line 866-979-3776. According to John Morosi, maybe it's a bat. Cut number 1. Take a listen.
Interestingly, the Mariners this year have scored 1 run more than the mean runs scored of all teams in Major League Baseball. They are about as average as any team could possibly get in terms of the offensive output. That is the result of a pretty good April and a pretty poor May and early days of June. They need to be better than what they were against Baltimore. And yet, if you were to ask me what I think their biggest priority probably needs to be at the deadline, I would still actually answer a starting pitcher.
I misspoke. So he thinks it's a starting pitcher. You talked yesterday about it being a bad intro for that cut. But maybe it's a starting pitcher, and maybe that need feels more pressing with Bryce Miller now to the IL, even though he wasn't having a great year. Maybe a lot of you still think it's a bat. Frankly, Bump, I think there's a lot of potential answers to this question because it doesn't have to be a bullpen arm, a bat, an answer at first base or someone in right field. Or it could be, I feel like they're missing edge. I feel like they're missing competitiveness. What are they missing?
It's hard to say competitiveness because those guys go out there and compete. I don't think they're going out there and saying, oh, I really don't care about today's game. I'm just going to go through the motions. They just aren't executing. To me, I'm still with a bat. Just in the month of June, I know it hasn't been a lot, right? What are we, June 9th, 10th right now?
10.
In the month of June, Julio has 1 RBI. Crawford has 1. Polanco has 1 RBI. Randy has 3. Tellez 2. Moore 0. Mastroboni 0. Solano 2. Young 2. Williamson 0. Canzone 2. And Cal 9. That's the problem right there. It's just you're not producing runs. You're not scoring. I mean, Julio has 1 RBI. Canzone shows up on a Tuesday night and hits a bomb and already has more RBIs than him in the month of June. I'm still with the bats. I think that the arms can be figured out. I feel like Hancock had a decent day yesterday. Yeah. I think that once Logan is back up, you should be fine there. Our question yesterday was, all right, what's going to be the determining factor of what to do with this rotation? It figured itself out. Remember I said yesterday, this thing might figure itself out.
It did.
Miller's gone. Okay. Logan's up for a little bit. Logan Evans is up for a little bit. Let's just ride this out. I think the arms are good enough right now. The bullpen still scares me a little bit. Obviously, yesterday you give up those runs and then that bomb in the, what was it, the 11th from Vargas. Bullpen scares me a bit. The bats scare me a bit. The arms just aren't what we're used to seeing. But you got to be able to hit the rock. So I'm still with the bat.
Yeah. In terms of what are the Mariners missing, at the top of my list is the here and now, and it's first baseman impact bat is kind of where I automatically go. Someone in right field would also be stellar. Those are my 1 and 2 options. Bullpen help would probably be 3, but maybe I'm counting a little too much on Kirby staying absolutely phenomenal and Logan coming back and looking great. Maybe that's just me counting on the arms, making it through and being okay. Big picture, and I wouldn't say this is like top of the list, right? Immediately, I want a bat. I would love an impact bat. They're missing a sense of hyper competitiveness, and I don't want to be disrespectful in that when I see George Kirby out there, when I see JP Crawford out there, like when I see guys out there, they look very competitive, right? They're getting hyped up. They are, clearly guys that are in this and want to win. But the feeling from the club is not one with much teeth. It doesn't have much of a bite to it.
Well, I think that you reflect your leadership, and Dan is a calm, cool kind of guy. So naturally, that's what that team is going to be. In those moments, I think I would push back a little bit on that because I think you saw it last night with Moore having a good at bat, Solano getting on base, Young driving him in, and Canzone competing at the end, hitting that bomb. That's competitiveness to the fullest right there. It's just finishing the job. And when it was time to finish, when it was time to expand on that, you're just not able to do it. And I think it comes back to a conversation we've been having all year about certain players. It's just be freaking clutch. Like Canzone had a more clutch moment than Julio has had all year. All year, Canzone comes up and he hits that bomb. We haven't seen that. Now, Julio had a competitive at-bat towards the end of the game. I believe he got on or something and kept things rolling, right? I think beat out a throw, something like that. It wasn't impressive, but he got on when he needed to get on. But if it ain't Julio, if it's not Cal coming through with the big knock, it's everyone but Julio. And last night it was Canzone. It comes down to clutch to me. It's so hard to look at baseball games and say, well, these guys aren't competitive. Because, like, how do you really show competitiveness in baseball? Like, it's not like you're out there breaking tackles.
Sure.
I'm out there tossing sidearm bombs to my receiver. I'm out there step back clutch shot by Halliburton. It's more just like be smart at the plate, make the plays on defense, and it comes down to your pitching. The bullpen has just been not great this year. I think the loss of Santos, Brash being, kind of there but not there. We're leading on Vargas, and we were so excited about Vargas early in the season. Where'd this guy come from? He's doing great. Now it's like even the bullpen is coming back to reality now. It's like we were on this high, and everyone's coming back to reality. There's not enough clutchness when it comes to ABs out there late.
See, I'll admit that my perspective is also from that of like a front office organization perspective. From a player level, I think competitiveness is there. And you're right. With baseball, it's not like hit harder, run faster, go out there and just grind through. Like that's not, you can't will your way aggressively and physically and with violence into winning the way that you can in football. And sometimes as sports fans, you're like, you have this surge of, feeling anger, adrenaline, whatever. And you're like, channel that. You just can't.
Yeah.
But I think that I look at the front office and I go, trade deadline is about 2 months away, under 2 months away. Yeah. Are they going to be aggressive? I don't think so.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's a competitive sense of urgency, whereas Houston, I guarantee you right now, Houston, who is just now in first place, is going, we got this.
Yeah, I like that. It's competitiveness when it comes to improving your team. Like, we're not going to settle for this type of performance. We're not going to settle with this roster and say, okay, you just got to figure it out. We're going to go out and try to make this team better. Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, and I'd love to see what they try to do, and I'd love to see them do something. And I hate thinking about the fact that they'd look at it and go, well, seller's market. Maybe we make a move to, try to recoup and focus on 2026. No. Fans deserve more. These players deserve more. Cal Raleigh's season deserves more.
Right.
I want to see aggressiveness. I want to see that competitiveness, that aggressiveness, that sense of confidence, like true confidence in your club. I want to see that as an organization.
Yeah.
Step back and look at it, and I go, oh, the Mariners, they don't think they're out of this at all, no matter what. They do not have their eye on next year. They are being aggressive with what they're doing here. Let's jump back to a little bit of Dan Wilson sound. I know a lot of people had questions about, we'll just run through these. Bryce, back to the IL, cut 3. Here's the update there.
Evans will pitch tomorrow. Bryce is going to be an IL. Similar, it's the same issues he had the last time. The cortisone shot wasn't as helpful as we had hoped, so he's going to be an IL, and Logan Evans will start tomorrow.
And Wu on Wednesday?
Yes.
I am excited to see Logan Evans, who was DFA'd after what was his best start, come back up here and pitch today.
Yeah, I am too. Because he was DFA'd and we felt like he was moving in the right direction, right? The young man was doing it. I know it's hard to trust young players, but I also understand why you would bring Miller back. Miller has a couple of seasons of showing you that he's got some good stuff. So it's sorting itself out, and I like that we're going to see someone that we've already seen before. It's not like you're at this point of the season, you got this new arm, what are you going to get out of him? You have an idea of how he operates, and that's going to be good for Kyle and everyone else involved. Look, this is a familiar face, familiar arm. Unfortunate for Miller, but we knew something was up. He wasn't having a great season, and it just makes me even more appreciative and angry at the same time of the year we had with all the starters healthy and not doing enough to support them, because now you're in a predicament where you're relying on young arms, the bullpen ain't good, and your bats are now have cooled down once again. So who's going to take the charge, man? How do you climb yourself out of this? It can't just be Cal.
I know quite a few people were wondering why Vargas was back out there in the 11th, why they didn't go with Brash. Cut number 4, here's Dan Wilson.
Yes. Yeah. Brash would have been an option at some point tonight too. Vargas had such a quick inning. It was, pretty safe for him to go back out there and do it again.
These are actually the ones that sometimes are hard for me to be overly critical of. If I go, man, Vargas had a solid 10th, or like if he's right, like if it is a quick inning, or you go like, oh, I can kind of see the logic behind it. Sometimes, particularly with a bullpen that's a little volatile or that's been inconsistent, which is almost every bullpen all the time, it's only an obvious decision when it goes bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And if Vargas didn't have the 10th that he had, then I understand why there would be some uproar about Brash not going in there. It's things like this happen because it was almost like you saw 2 different pitchers from the 10th to the 11th. And, you got to live and die by your decisions. And it's tough being a manager. It's tough being a head coach in any sport, because when you do well, you're praised and the players get most of the credit. When things go bad, your decisions are amplified. But he gets paid for this. I don't feel bad for him, but it is the reality of his situation. I understand why Vargas was still in there. I had no issues with that.
Well, and look, so many of our conversations can come back down to Vargas, could come back down to the bullpen management, or, the 10th and the 11th. But ultimately, and Curtis and you and I were talking about this as kind of part of show prep, and I think it's the reason that all of us always kind of settle back on needing a bat. This offense didn't do much of anything until late. Those 12 hits were heavily concentrated to the final couple innings.
Yeah, I think I heard a stat. Who said it last night? It was like the Mariners, the first time in franchise history that they had 5 hits in the 9th inning, being down X amount or whatever the heck. And it took a lot. And it took a lot from guys that you don't typically rely on. Like I said, I was ready to turn the TV off. We're at the bottom of the order. I'm seeing
You're ready to keep it moving. You're like your friends. You're crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, stop. Relax. And then he ended up looking like a genius.
All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bubba and Stacy.
Headline number 1, we talked about it a little bit there, but Bryce Miller is going back on the IL with the same arm injury that sidelined him earlier this season. Logan Evans will take his spot in the rotation and get the start tonight. What's the real headline?
When it rains, it pours, which is interesting to say about a Seattle team in June.
It's been so nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice out
It's
here.
so beautiful.
So beautiful.
I got a little sunburn the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I wish something would happen with the Mariners, but something is happening. I'm actually, I'm excited for Logan. I feel bad for Bryce because I know what it's like to play injured and not be completely yourself. But this is probably the way this should have ended up anyway. Like Logan was playing some good ball when he was up here. Bryce has the resume. Logan, take this thing over and make the decision making so tough for these guys when it comes down to it.
Has any part of you been tempted by John Morosi saying their primary need is an arm? I mean, let's say Logan Evans goes out and struggles against a Diamondbacks team that's, around 500, hovering around 500, just below it?
No, because I think that the arms can work themselves out if they're healthy. You're not even at full tilt right now. It's the bats that feel like haven't been able to work themselves out for years now. So you just need support. You need run support because I think the rotation is good enough to keep you in the game.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Seahawks have signed punter Michael Dixon to a 4-year extension that makes him the highest paid punter in the league, beating out the Raiders' A.J. Cole by just $200,000. What's the real headline?
Pete and John having a good old-fashioned punt-off right now.
Always
You don't
compete.
see it, but this is the battle of the offseason.
He's the best punter in the game. So you got to sign him, make him feel like he's loved and worth it. Because what's his job is to flip the field, and we've seen him do that so many times. How many times have we been in the press box and people in there go, "Ooh, over a punt"?
We got
talking
coffin
a
corner.
punt. So yeah, good for Michael, man. Great first name, better guy, good punter.
I remember his rookie season. It was one of those things where it was like every week it felt like you were talking about something else that he was doing.
Yeah.
Remember how people would tell like tall tales of, oh, this guy could drop kick it from 65 yards. It's like, I don't think he can, but okay, sure.
And then you see a version of something and you go, okay. Then of course you have him picking up the first down against the Lions.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's probably gonna, if you were to make a highlight, as we are wont to do, a punter highlight reel, and you had, Michael Dixon, it would be that Lions play, right? That would have to be number one. That's number one.
Or that 70-yard bomb he had at home one time. I forgot who they were playing with, but he was backed up and knocked that thing 70 yards. It was crazy.
Wyman would be disgusted by us talking about punter highlights. So what's the next headline?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, minicamp starting around the NFL. The biggest name not in attendance, that'd be Steelers star T.J. Watt, who will miss Pittsburgh's camp. What's the real headline?
The Steelers' toughest contract of the offseason isn't Aaron Rodgers. Both T.J. Watt and Trey looking for new deals here this offseason. Pass rusher money is no joke. Pass rusher money is, we're talking about guys wanting to set new records here.
Yeah.
But will they?
They're probably the second most important position on the field. As far as individuals, right? You got to go O-line, D-line. Those guys are the most important. But when we're talking about as a individual, it's the quarterback and the guy who is responsible for getting the quarterback. So, yeah, he's got to get paid. And they'd be foolish not to get this done as quickly as possible. Don't know why it's taking so long. If Aaron Rodgers' contract has already been on the table, what have you guys been doing? Just ignoring what's going on with Mr. Watts over there? But yeah, get this done, man. He's one of the best in the game, and I'm sure they will.
He's not the only name, though we just talked about Trey Hendrickson as being like, hey, these are two holdouts, that everyone kind of has their eye on. Terry McLaurin in Washington, also a holdout. Thank goodness the Seahawks don't have anything to worry about, so here I am just looking outside of Seattle going, let me look over the fence, over the neighbor's fence, and see what else is happening elsewhere.
Next year, they'll have some things to do, though.
Oh.
The Seahawks.
What do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, who you extended? We're still waiting to see what's going to happen with Ken. What's Reek Woolen going to look like? Like, there's some guys coming up to where they're going to have to make some decisions next year. So enjoy it while it lasts because, yeah, we'll be there.
Is Walker in his 3rd season?
I believe this is his.
Because here's what I
third,
wonder
right?
with Walker is what's going to be happening if, this team wants to get back to the run. They have made it very clear they want to focus on the run. If you're Ken Walker, if you're Zach Charbonnet, you're looking at this upcoming season, I better see a career high.
I think it's his 4th season.
4th season?
Yeah.
So it does become very interesting because hypothetically, if you want to really get your run game going, you have a couple names that if they have career years are going to be looking at you with their hand out going,
Yeah,
let's
as
get
they
this
should.
deal done.
As they should.
Let's keep it going.
We're important, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like we're the catalyst to this run game. And, big boys, lead the charge, but the guy with the ball in their hand makes it look all pretty and makes it happen. So, yeah, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm still waiting to see, because we've heard rumors that maybe Ken Walker can be traded because of what they have in the backfield. Maybe they believe in Zach Charbonnet. That's why you just got to wait till these pads come on. Is Ken Walker going to be patient enough to give that outside zone a chance? Can Zach Charbonnet get downhill like he did last year? Kenny McIntosh has shown his flashes. And what about Martinez?
Yeah, Damian Martinez. Montanez. Damian Montanez. People are really high on Damian Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, he was good at Oregon State. Then he went to Miami.
Yeah.
He saw no real breakaway speed, but it's great with angles, good balance, and his runs hard.
Do you think the Seahawks really can get the run go? I mean, they have quite a jump to make from being near the bottom of the league. I think they were 29th in rushing yards per game, around 29th, let's say.
I think they can. I have a better idea, once those pads come on. Are these tight ends going to be able to block and contribute there? How are you going to use the fullback in these situations? The interior offensive line, Oluwatimi, you got Gray Zabel, who's going to be at the other guard spot. I think they can, but they still got to show me they can be physical, and the running backs just have to be patient and give it a chance.
Someone asked if I was sponsoring Costco today because I have a Kirkland t-shirt. I wish I was.
That'd be a nice
check, Costco.
Man, honestly, please, Costco, I beg of you. No, it's just Kirkland brand because I do love Costco. I could spend 5 hours in Costco. I have spent hours in Costco. Your nightmare.
I love Costco for what it brings back home.
Which is everything?
I don't
Which is
like
joy and happiness?
the process. I don't like the process of Costco.
Bob, the process, the journey through
the
Costco
journey.
is part of it.
That's why I don't go.
There's just too many people that kind of dawdle around, and I think their eyes get too wide when they see some of the things on sale, and they just kind of clog the aisles, and it's all bad. But it's great. I love Costco.
Well, that's why you got to go to Costco in an off time, really early on the weekend.
Middle of the day during the week.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to go when there aren't as many people there, because then you go through and it's like going to the zoo. It's like
Saturdays are impossible.
Oh yeah, don't even bother. But
I don't bother at all. I love you, Costco.
Insane.
I love the products
insane.
when they're at the house, though.
I have a spending problem, but the Mariners do too. The Mariners have a spending problem. It's just not what you think. That's next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller.
Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to Champions of Change Foundation.org/pickleball.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Emerald Queen Casino Event Center presents the main event. Powered by WFC, Saturday night, June 14th. A night of professional boxing where champions are made and every punch counts. Contenders from the region go toe-to-toe, ready to prove they belong at the top. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss Fight Night, June 14th at Emerald Queen Casino, the boxing capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bump, you know I hate giving credit where it's due. I
Do
hate
you?
it. Well, no.
Why? You a hater?
Yeah. Professionally. I hate giving credit where it's due, but God, did Brock and Salk have a great segment on this. And Lyle was crunching the numbers, and it really kicked off a really great conversation. So cut number 17 is a longer cut, but worth it to listen through, and then we're going to continue the conversation. I love this conversation. It's about the Mariners maybe having a spending problem, but not being the one you think. Take a listen.
In 2024, Mitch Haniger, $16 million, negative 0.7 F4. Mitch Garver, $12 million, negative 0.4 F4. Jorge Polanco, $10.5 million, 0.3 F4. Ryan Stanek, $2.5 million, 0 WAR. Randy Arozarena, $2.8 million, 0.9 WAR. Justin Turner, $2.9 million, 0.7 WAR. Victor Robles, $750,000, 2.8 WAR. Phenomenal. There was $8 million of dead money for Anthony DeSclafani, who was part of the Haniger deal, who didn't pitch for you, but you had to eat the $8 million. This year, let's add to that Haniger, $15.5 million, dead money, 0 WAR. Mitch Garver, $12 million again, negative 0.2 WAR. Jorge Polanco, 7.75, 0.5 WAR. Rowdy Tellez, $1.5 million, negative 0.5 WAR. Donovan Solano, $3.5 million, negative 0.7 WAR. Leody Taveras, $3.7 million. We'll see what that ends up, but negative 0.8 FWAR. And Randy Arozarena, $11.3 million, 1.0 WAR. So when you total up those numbers over the course of the 2 years, not including DeSclafani, that's $110.7 million for just under 3 wins. If you do include DeSclafani, obviously that number jumps to almost $119 million for 2.9 WAR.
I love this conversation, Bob. I love it. I love the conversation because we so often, we make it, look, Jaire DePoto doesn't have a lot to spend. What are you going to do? One hand tied behind his back. What's he going to do? But if we're talking, and this isn't me saying, anything personal about Jaire DePoto. This is me saying if we're all collectively talking about ways this team could get better, we need to start with, let's examine how we're spending the money that we do have to spend. Is it working? And I think the short answer right now is maybe yes for extensions, but no for these free agent deals.
Can I say this?
Yes.
Heck no. I was going to drop it. I was going to say it, but I'm scared.
Matt's
I want to keep my job.
over the dump button.
Heck no,
Do
it
not
ain't
say
working.
it.
It ain't working, man. Don't tell me what to do, man. Wyman does whatever he wants to on the airwaves, says whatever he wants to, and I can't say hell no. All
yeah,
right?
but that's because I'm terrified of Wyman.
All right, but for real, man, it's the 3 that I look at is Mitch, Polanco, and Solano, right? Because those are the ones who you expected to contribute the most or getting paid that way. Mitch around $12 million. He mentioned his WAR. I had him at a negative 0.1, but I'll take the negative 0.2 that Salk put out there. Polanco, 7.5. He's at a 0.5 WAR. And then Solano at 3.5. He's at a negative 0.5 WAR. Those are the 3 that were supposed to come in and do their thing. Solano, you read the quote to me off air. Jaire DePoto said, one of the most consistent hitters over the last 6 or 7 seasons. Where you at? Polanco, if he displays to the back of his baseball card, he'll be good. Had a great April. Where you at? And then Mitch Garver is probably the one that we scratch our head the most. Man. Between those 3, right, that's over $30 million that you're spending this year on those guys. Now, last year, there was a guy that I was begging and pleading for, even this offseason, and we knew he wasn't going to get it by the man by the name of Pete Alonso, right? We knew that they weren't going to go out and make that deal. They were going to have him for rental. They're not going to do it, and he's getting $30 million this year, $24 million next year. If we would just allow these dudes to spend more money, maybe Pete Alonso is a real thing. Now, he still has to want to come here as a free agent, right? The ballpark doesn't help. But I'm looking at the $30 million that's been spent with these 3, and I'm looking across the league and thinking, all right, where else could this $30 million have gone? That's the issue. But we also know, I'm not saying that DePoto did not make some poor decisions when it comes to the guys that he brought in. But what I am saying is that if he were just allotted that $30 million on top of what he had, which is like 15 to 16 million, who knows what could have happened. End of the day, yes, they are shopping at the wrong store, getting the wrong items.
No, I completely agree with both points. On the one hand, you look at someone like Mitch Garver, who was the first multi-year contract the Mariners signed a hitter to out of free agency under Jaire DePoto, and the average annual value of $12 million was the most over that same period of time. Mitch Garver. So I know we talk about, Mitch Garver, and he kind of slides to the, the side. But, this was a pretty monumental contract, not just in terms of, value compared to other teams, which would be minimal. Like, most people weren't turning their heads going, oh, my God, the Mariners got Mitch Garver. But in terms of the Mariners' trends, the Mariners typically give out really short-term deals, maybe one-year deals. And they also don't spend a ton of money. In fact, that's part of the problem for Jeff Passan. In cut number 14, he said the Mariners' lack of production for money spent in addition to this on those offseason deals is in part because they're giving out short-term deals. Take a listen.
It comes down to this. It's not just that performance is paid for in free agency. I think consistency is what you're paying for. And when you're bringing in guys on one-year deals or two-year deals at a max, like looking at Mitch Garver, for example, he's a guy on a 2-year deal. Mitch Garver had been extraordinarily inconsistent throughout his career. He had shown signs where sometimes he looks like a great player, as he did in his walk year, and some years he just looks completely lost. And the reason that Mitch Garver got 2 years as opposed to 3 or 4, some of the longer-term deals, is because of that lack of consistency. So every time you're signing guys to these short-term deals, they're getting short-term deals for a reason, right? And that reason almost always goes back to they just haven't been able to consistently produce.
Yes. This is how I feel when I see an Amazon review on like an $8 T-shirt and someone says, fell apart after 3 washes. What did you think you were buying, sir? This is a single-digit dollar amount that you spent on a T-shirt. What did you think you were getting? Don't bother leaving this review complaining, because what did you think you were getting? Now, I know I just said that Garver was the most in terms of average annual value that Jaire DePoto would given out, and that's also what makes it so frustrating. But big picture, when you're signing guys that are commanding these deals, it's like that for a reason. When you're signing a 37-year-old who's, oh yeah, he's been under the radar, but like he's available to you at that low price for a reason. You must look at him as, oh, we're adding a veteran to the bench because we think it's a good presence for a young team. Like, maybe that's how you look at it. You don't go, oh, this guy's going to contribute. They needed Mitch Garver, in this instance, a 32-year-old, to be a middle-of-the-order bat. That's not what he is.
They're playing the prices right and getting it wrong. Like the actual retail price, and they're paying too much for these guys, it seems like, because you're not getting the consistency and the performance that you want. You know what's messed up? I'm looking at Polanco's numbers right now, and we talk about consistency. And the 2 numbers I'm just looking at with him are bombs, RBIs, and then your WAR. You can look at the average if you want to. He's been consistently this guy for the past 4 seasons, right? So it's almost unfair for us to expect more out of him. I think the reason why we expected more out of him is the way that they gassed him and pumped him up. And then he gives us the start of the season that we had. If he finishes the year right now, his slash is 257, 303, 469, OPS around 772, 0.5 WAR. If he finishes there, that will be one of the better seasons he's had in the last 3 or 4 years. The problem is the consistency, right? You can't have these bursts of greatness fall apart and then burst again and fall apart. That's why people look at Julio and they get a bit impatient too, because of the consistency. They want a consistent, higher standard of play. So I agree. You're paying for the consistency, and that's something you have not gotten throughout this lineup. Only one you're getting it from is Cal and JP, honestly. JP had like a rough couple of weeks or a week or so, but he's bounced back. He's been consistent. Nothing about this team has been consistent. The pitching hasn't, the bullpen hasn't, the bats haven't, the decision-making hasn't. That's where it all needs to come together.
We're going to jump back to this conversation and more from Jeff Passan coming up at 11. Before we get to that, let's talk about how else we'd like to see teams spend money that isn't ours. Is Jaire Alexander a fit for the Seahawks? We got some sound from Brock and Bump's been watching film. That's coming up next.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here, and I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about. The guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. If you have nothing to do this weekend, the summertime is right around the corner. It's here. Take an easy drive of I-5, get off exit 260, and you will find Silver Reef Casino. It's a great place to get away and recharge. I did it myself, and it works. They have great rooms, king rooms with space, free Wi-Fi. Also, they have tablets, and you might get a good view. Check that out. When you're done upstairs, go downstairs and eat some food. You go to the steakhouse or the cantina. They got great food and other great restaurants as well. And you can watch some sports. Porter's Bay Sports Bar, it's right downstairs. The vibes are good. And if you're a golfer like me, the weather's good. Get out to Loomis Trails Golf Course. 18 holes with water almost everywhere. Bring your patience. And they have a special promo this month. You can win $5,000 every Saturday. Make sure you check that out. They also have events coming up. Howie Mandel, Desperados, the tribute Eagles band, and also Neil McCoy. Book the tickets at silverreefcasino.com. Silver Reef Casino is not a secret anymore.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy. Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that, you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Maura Dooley here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at MazdaofEverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
June is Men's Health Month, and we want to place a special emphasis on prostate cancer awareness and treatment. It's important for men to communicate about issues relating to their health, especially family health history. Prostate cancer has been in the news, and right now I'm joined by Dr. Landis from the Swedish Cancer Institute. Dr. Landis, how common is prostate cancer?
Prostate cancer is very common. About 1 in 8 men will develop prostate cancer here in the U.S. That ends up being about 300,000 cases per year.
How can men test for prostate cancer?
Well, first thing, patients should ask to have PSA screening from their primary care doc. Anyone 50 or over, and if you have a family history starting at 45 is pretty typical.
If diagnosed, why should patients seek out Swedish CyberKnife for treatment?
What we hear from patients all the time is that treatment really was amazing. They didn't have to take time off of work. The side effects are really minimal, and there was minimal interruption in their lives.
Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/CyberKnifeProstate.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, maybe the biggest story in the NFL right now is what's going to happen with Jaire Alexander, recently cut by the Packers, who think that they have all their solutions at cornerback. That's a story coming up later in NFL headlines with an interesting name getting in some work there. But for right now, Jaire Alexander, a free agent, a very, very good corner who hasn't been able to stay healthy. And the number one question that I'm sure every fan base is asking is he a fit for our team? Bump, that is your question today. We've got some sound from Brock from Blue 88, and then you've obviously already familiar with Jaire, but been watching a little extra tape. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with Brock. I like what he said about him.
Cut 18. Here's what Brock had to say this morning.
Jaire Alexander's available after being cut. You want him?
I'm kicking those tires, from what I understand, and the people that I have chatted with on this. You don't want too many corners, Salk, that don't love to tackle. You got one that pound for pound may be the most ferocious tackler in all the NFL, and Devin Witherspoon. Josh Jobe is willing to stick his face in there. Mr. Woolen, that has not, been his MO the last couple years and kind of called out, so much so. And he's going to be your starter going into a contract year for him. Now, I was reading from, Schefter and some of the different guys. They don't think there's going to be a big market for him. So, when guys tend to tackle a little bit better, Saul? When that next payday, maybe the final big payday of their career hasn't come, maybe they'll not make business decisions when all of a sudden their business and their zeros and their bank account and their savings is not what they anticipated it being. Because as a cover guy, dude is elite. Ball skill guy, dude is elite. Football instinct guy, dude is elite. Tackler, not so elite.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think Brock is right on it. He's all over it. You watch Jaire do his thing, and he's great at the press at the line of scrimmage. He's good at playing those mind games. He'll walk down and open up the hips. He keeps things in front of him. He squeezes the receiver to the sideline. He flips those hips. But the only two knocks you have on this dude is that he can't stay healthy, and he's a willing tackler. So I went and rewatched the game from last year against Philly. I believe they were in Brazil to open up the season. And I chose that game to go back and watch because that's when you see him at his healthiest, right? Can he stay healthy? That's another question. But I want to see, okay, when he's 100%, is everything going to line up to my analysis and Brock's analysis? And it does. There's a couple plays where he drops into cover 3. The ball is thrown to the flat. He's got a rally to get downhill. He makes the tackle, but it's not like he's trying to light a you-know-what up. He's just, I'm just throwing my body in there. I'm making a tackle. When you look at Spoon make tackles, he's trying to hurt you. When you look at even Sherm would get downhill.
Yeah.
He's trying to hurt you.
He's a good tackler.
With Alexander, it's like I'm just trying to make a play and get you down. This isn't what I like to do. And I completely understand where he's coming from because me being a receiver, right? They put me on kickoff one time. I got to go down there and try to tackle somebody. I haven't tackled anyone since high school. And I run down there and I just do just enough just to get the play done, where there's some guys who just thrive in those situations and want to hurt a human being. He doesn't do that. But when the football is in the air, when he is in his cover mode, he's good to go. I love that Brock pointed out sometimes you get a little more aggressive when it's almost time to get paid. Sometimes you're more honest with yourself. You're watching film. And there are things you can do to get better at that. I think it has to be part of your personality to want to come downhill and try to hurt somebody. But I think you can still be a good tackler and not have that type of mentality. If I am the Seahawks, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I love Josh Jobe. I think he's a good ball player, but there's something different in Alexander that Josh Jobe just doesn't have. The hips, the ball skills, the reaction, the knowledge of the game. I think that can make up for some things if he can just step up a little bit and get downhill and wrap dudes up.
If you guys have questions for Bump, let me know. I have one from the 206. The most important quality for an athlete is all caps availability, says the 206. And look, they've got a point. Jaire Alexander has not been able to stay healthy. In fact, the reason, almost verbatim, that Brian Gutekunst, GM of the Packers, said that they were moving on is they were paying Jaire Alexander more than what he was playing.
Yeah.
Like, they know he's talented, but he was available for such a limited amount of time that they were like, we're basically overpaying this guy. We're basing him on talent and not on availability. But what kind of role would he have in Seattle? Because I don't know that you're looking at Jaire as like, this is our every single day guy, right?
Yeah, I would.
Really?
Yeah, he's the starter. If he were to come over here, he is the starter. At the corner spots, you don't really do much rotating, right? You rotate at the safeties, you rotate at the defensive line. He is the starter, but you're not going to pay him the 18 to 20 million that he's going to get with the Green Bay Packers, man. You got to bring that down to about 8 or 9. You know, and the market is going to tell you, or the NFL is going to tell you exactly what you are worth anyway. So now I'm interested. I want to see what the rest of the league thinks about him, because I think that he's obviously good enough to be a starting corner in this league. Because he's been injured and hasn't been available, that's going to mess up his money a bit as far as leverage. He has none when it comes to that. But I think it's worth kicking the tires, as Brock said.
I think that there's still going to be a team that's going to pay him more than the Seahawks would ever want to pay him. But for right now, it's a fun hypothetical because it also allows us to take a look at the cornerback room and figure out how comfortable we are with it. I know that Devin Witherspoon, clearly number 5 overall pick. He's one of your best young defenders. I don't have massive question marks about Devin. I'd love to see some more show up in the stat sheet. But when you're watching film, you see Devin, you feel Devin.
Yeah.
What are your lingering questions and feelings about this room as a whole, though? And that includes Devin.
Lingering questions. You got to get Reek to step it up in the tackling department as well. You have to find ways to use Devin Witherspoon in multiple ways. And we've heard that already, right? Was it AD who was talking about him blitzing a couple weeks ago, like how he's one of the best on the team? I'm just continuing to be creative. But listen, say what you want about Reek and his tackling. When he's locked in and he's focused and he's covered and he's long, he's one of the best corners in when it comes to those attributes. I just pulled up Spot Check right now, and they project the market value for these players. And most of the time, they're not too far off when it comes to their value. The value for Reek Woolen, all right, what do you think it is per year?
24.
Nah, 15 million.
15.
More
I was
than
thinking,
I thought.
Is it going to shock me? Is it going to make me uncomfortable?
No. The top
Okay.
is Trent McDuffie.
I tricked myself. Now I'm okay with it.
Top is Trent McDuffie had $24 million for good reasons, and then Deron Bland, who had 11 interceptions 1 year at 23. But they got Reek at 15 million, and it's not because of his tackling; it's because of his covering and the potential in that dude. So I think that Alexander would be a great addition. Go forward with a team-friendly deal.
The 2025 MLB All-Star ballot is open, and Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every day through June 26 at MLB.com/vote. The latest from Jeff Passan coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results, receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Granger who does the same. Granger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Granger who does the same. Granger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners dropped their first game of their series to the Diamondbacks last night. Dom Canzone hit a home run that sent this one to extras, but Vargas gave up a walk-off grand slam to Naylor in the 11th to give Arizona the win. After the game, manager Dan Wilson announced Bryce Miller, who is scheduled to start today, will head to the IL with a right arm injury. Logan Evans will take his spot in the rotation. Brian Wu will start tomorrow. First pitch today at 6:40 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:30.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Jeff Passan says the Mariners are who we thought they were. And I got to be honest, Bump, Jeff says something as part of his interview with Brock and Salk that I thought was a little harsh. I know Jeff has a flair for the dramatic, and who am I to criticize that, right? You know me. I will admit that I have a flair for the dramatic, that I over-exaggerate once in a while. Rarely, but sometimes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So I can't hate on Jeff for doing the same, but I don't know. We're going to go to cut number 11. I don't know that I fully agree with Jeff on this one. Take a listen.
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I mean, I don't even know what to think they would look like. They would look like the Rockies. Like, that's how bad the offense has been. I mean, over the last dozen games, and, you know, I know you guys are talking about a stretch going back 29 games, but I'm going to look at the stretch where they've had, you know, multiple losing streaks. The only good things have been the walk-off wins that they had. In that time, over the last 12 games, the Seattle Mariners have 11 home runs, and 7 of them are from Cal Raleigh.
Now, Jeffrey. Not even the White Sox?
The Rockies.
We'd look like the Rockies
Half
without
the Rockies.
Cal? Now, look, I don't personally agree, Bump. I don't want to speak for you, but I think Jeff is being a little hyperbolic. That being said, I get what he's saying.
No, he's being a bit dramatic, but he's doing that to get a point across. This is how bad this baseball team has been playing. You got 7 bombs from Cal, and you're sprinkling a bunch of other people. I mentioned the RBIs over this month. Cal with 9, I believe, and then you got a bunch of 2s, a bunch of 1s, and some 0s from guys you expect to contribute. No, it's something that I hope that changes here over the next couple of days, right? There's still some time to kind of right your wrongs and find yourself, but the more days you stack on, right? CP3 had a saying a few years ago, I'm just stacking days. That's what I tell my son, stack days, my daughter, stack days. But the good days, all right? We're stacking the bad days here.
You'll forget the bad memories.
Yeah. And the more bad days you stack, the more it becomes your personality and who you are. So it's vital that we see some good baseball today.
That's a really good point, because that better articulates the way I felt about last night's loss. In a vacuum, it's not the worst loss I've ever seen, right? Like, a lot about it is just kind of an average offensive performance. But when they've been stacking bad outings, that feels like one that just causes a couple bricks to crack.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're feeling the weight of it, and you're just going, God, please don't drop this one. You've already let the Astros surpass you in the standings, and that's deeply, deeply troubling. In fact, let's go to cut number 12. This is Passan talking about the AL West.
Over these last 12 games, here are the RBI leaders for the Mariners. Cal Raleigh, 16. J.P. Crawford and Randy Arozarena are next at 4. Cole Young at 3. Rowdy Tellez and Leody Taveras and Donovan Solano and Dom Canzone at 2, and then a few guys at 1, including Julio Rodriguez. They are striking out more. They are walking less. That Mariners offense that we saw during that period where they, finally came back and took over first place in the American League West, it has disappeared. And it's a bad time, guys, for it to happen.
Curtis, would you mind, for Bump and I, checking out the Astros schedule and letting us know where now first place Houston could potentially build on that lead?
Yeah, the team they're playing right now, you ever heard of a team called the Chicago White Sox? How they've been kind of historically bad for a few years now?
Yeah, unfortunately I have, and unfortunately for White Sox fans.
Yeah, they're still bad. And then also the Astros have a 4-game series coming up starting June 16th against the A's, who have been very bad over the last month. And then they also have a 3-game series against the Angels immediately following that. So the Astros have a pretty favorable schedule for the next 2 weeks.
Forget September. Forget even looking into August. You need to start stacking those good days, Bump. Start stacking those wins right now. These are games that matter right now.
Stacking wins. You know what? I think they should focus on stacking as good at bats. All right, let's start there. Stack some good at bats, especially with runners in scoring position, and that's how you get like the snowball effect. That's how you get momentum on your side, and you get things going, because there's opportunity. There's opportunity here with your schedule compared to the Astros schedule. But who's on the mound today? We got Logan.
Evans, yeah.
Logan flew up from Washington. Can he look like the guy that we saw the last time that we saw him out there? There's this is connecting the dots, man. Make the puzzle freaking fit, because it hasn't in a while. And who are they going up against today, Curtis?
What was that about?
Pitching wise, what's the matchup?
Tonight, you've got Logan Evans against, let's see here, Logan Evans against Brandon Pfaadt, who has been really bad his last couple of starts. So there might be some opportunities for the Mariners to put some runs up on the board. Now, that's a hypothetical. There might be, but yeah, his last 2 starts, combined 3 innings pitched, he's allowed 13 runs in those 3 innings.
Gracious. Can we keep him there, please?
Yeah.
Just keep him there. Keep him in that mind state.
360. Everyone was complaining during the offseason that they didn't make any moves and they weren't going to be any good. Why is it so hard to believe now?
I don't think it's hard to believe. I think that it was hard. It was more hard to believe the run they were on.
Yes.
You know, we're looking at Polanco go nuts and Cal and all these other contributions and Rivas. Where's Rivas been? Ain't seen him in a while. That was harder to believe than what's going on right now. Right now, it's the frustrating, the inevitable frustrating sinking in.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we're experiencing now. No, it's not hard to believe.
You can be both anticipating something and also disappointed when you see it.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I think that any Mariners fan, look, if you are a Mariners fan, you anticipate losing. If you are a Mariners fan, you anticipate missing the playoffs. And you do that because overwhelmingly, in the history of the franchise, your team has done that. So you've been trained. Anyone in their 20s and 30s has been trained to expect not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And people older than this also, but you guys, at least were able to experience, 95, 2001. Like you had a couple seasons where you thought, oh, they got some players on this team. Let's see what they can do. Obviously, overwhelmingly, this franchise has not been good from its inception. But, I mean, who can blame anyone for looking at what the Mariners were doing in April and going, we'll see what happens in September.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason Bump and I were kind of getting excited is going like, look, what do you want us to do? Come in here every day and go, oh, this team is horrible. Let's just wait until they fall apart. No, but another reason that we would come in and talk about it is to stress the importance that this front office understand that this front office see how excited people could be about baseball, that this front office see how exciting the town feels as a whole when playoff baseball is happening. Baseball took over Seattle when the Mariners went to the playoffs. That was a monumental moment.
And it feels different. I'm not saying it's better than football or say if a basketball team were here or when the Kraken made the playoffs. It's just a different kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a overwhelming, just finally type of feel.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited. People will go to the ballpark and pay $20 for a drink just to watch these guys play in the postseason because it's something that you haven't experienced. And right now, I think we're in transition to where it's like, all right, if it doesn't happen soon, then you're going to hit the dark ages again to where there is absolutely no hope because these arms aren't getting any younger. They're not getting any healthier. And you still haven't been able to put some bats together that can support this team. So that's where I think, where I'm at least, is just that it feels like if you don't capitalize this year or next year, you're probably going to have to start all over again.
Well, and I don't want to get to that point. I think that you can simultaneously have your eye on building a team for the future, on developing your farm system. Every single baseball front office is going to have to do this, and also on competing right now. And I just would love to see. Last year we saw a sense of urgency at the deadline. I'd love to also see that this year. I'd love to see, hey, this is a weekend American League West. I know that Houston has pulled ahead. I know that they're banged up as well, and I know that there's this feeling that they could kind of get to full strength and really pull ahead. But they aren't the Houston Astros of seasons past, and even Houston fans would say that. They just aren't. The same guys aren't there. It is what it is. Likewise, you can say that the Rangers are not the sexy pick that everyone foresaw at the beginning of the season to kind of bounce back with the names that we thought would be really great. They haven't really lived up to that either. This is still a winnable division if you make the right moves. What are those moves going to be? I don't know. And that's so much easier said than done. It's so easy for me, not a GM, to sit here pointing at a front office going, make a trade to bring in someone to help. And you're in the front office going, with whom? Stacy, with who? What do you want me to do? But you know what? I don't know. Something has to happen. Either, this needs to be on players. It needs to be on the coaching staff. Something needs to happen. You cannot hand fans another season where they miss the playoffs. I'm sorry. That's unacceptable.
The division is winnable right now. Right now is winnable. Will it be winnable in a month? Will there still be enough or less of a gap in between the Mariners and Astros for this organization to be aggressive at the trade deadline. That's why it's tough, because I don't think you're close enough to the trade deadline to go out there and make moves and grab yourself a bag. So what do you have to do? You have to rely on the guys who are already out there at this point. You have to hope that Julio continues to improve, that Mastrobuoni has his moments, because you're not going to make a move now. I think that's the most frustrating part, too, is that you just have to watch. You got to sit back and watch. The only moves that are going to be made are internally. The only moves going to be made are Canzone coming up and Logan Evans making a move there, because you're not that close to the trade deadline. So you got to take care of these opportunities, man. And, I hope that they muster up some swag and some production and just go on a run here, because these next 3 series, I think you can either reassure the organization that there's enough to keep you afloat until the trade deadline, or go the opposite direction and have other questions to answer.
Let's go to a little bit more sound from Jeff Passan. Let's talk about some good stuff here. Cut number 20. Here's what Jeff had to say about Cal Raleigh.
I don't have to tell you guys this, but we're watching what could and should be an all-time great season from a catcher. It's remarkable what he's done this year. The fact that we are even mentioning Cal Raleigh in the MVP conversation when Aaron Judge is almost hitting 400 at this point, I think is a testament to just how good Cal actually is. Now, I don't think it's much of a conversation. I think Judge is the runaway guy there right now, but that's not an insult to Cal Raleigh. That's more a testament to what Aaron Judge does on a daily basis.
I feel like you don't want to waste this season from Cal, and it's also okay to take a quick break from the negativity fatigue that we can get complaining about this team when it's in a rut, and look at what Cal's doing. And even if it was a less than stellar game from Cal the other day, to go, oh my God, how fun is this season? I'm really enjoying this season from Cal, which is the understatement of the century.
That's all we got right now. Really, it's just that's one of the few positives. That and JP's playing well. I don't think we give JP enough attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's his job. Like, I don't expect JP to slug and hit bombs and all that stuff. You just get on base and give guys a chance. I think Julio's playing okay. Like, there's something to work with. It's not like there's nothing in this lineup and we're doomed and there's absolutely no chance. There's not enough to really think that they're contenders right now. But there are some good things happening in this lineup, just not enough.
I'm glad you mentioned Julio. I'm going to do one more cut here. Cut 21. Jeff Passan, Brock and Salk, we're all talking about just Julio's total upside. And I think what we're all collectively still trying to figure out is Julio going to meet the expectations we had of him, the potential that we saw there, or is he going to fall just short? And cut 21, here's what Jeff said.
When it comes to Julio, I am perpetually running into the problem of comparing what he is to what I and plenty of others wanted him to be. We wanted him to be Corbin Carroll, and instead he might just be like a very good player. And there's nothing wrong with what Julio Rodriguez is doing right now. He is an above average hitter. He is a very, very good defensive center fielder.
So, again, he is a very, very good center fielder. I think his defense gets overlooked because, frankly, we were all hoping that he'd constantly be hitting bombs. But what if, Bump? What if Julio is just a very good player but never becomes the perennial MVP candidate people were hoping?
That's what most players do. Most players don't even do what Julio's doing, actually, right? Most players cycle in and out. You're up, you're down, you're with this team, you're with that team. Hopefully you put together a couple contracts, you make yourself some money, and you're right off into the sunset, right? Most players don't have the expectations that we put on Julio. And that Julio put on himself, too, man, because he's the one who came out and looked nice his rookie year and made us all believe. And then what do we do with that? As a region, we grasp onto him, and as an organization, you grasp onto this potential, and you pub him. He's GQ, he's all this, he's all that. And sometimes things don't just work out the way that you expect them to work out. Doesn't mean he can't be an integral piece in this organization and to them getting to the playoffs and being contenders. It just means that maybe he might not be the one to lead the charge, which is exactly fine. He's being paid as if, right? Most of his money, he can hit 400 something if he hits all these incentives, right?
Yeah.
If he doesn't hit these performance-based incentives, he will be paid accordingly to how he's performing, in my opinion.
I think if nothing else, the front office needs to decide whether or not they think he's going to be an MVP, because if you're a team that already has constraints with spending and with your budget, and you look at a guy and think he can be the MVP, it gives you a little bit of confidence in how you build your roster if you're not taking big risks to bring in bats to add around him, because you think, well, look, worst case scenario, if he looks like an MVP and the guy brought in as a free agent and is hitting under 200, okay. But if you look at a guy and you go, yeah, maybe he's not going to be everything I thought. He's going to be a fantastic defensive center fielder, but he's just not going to deliver at the plate the way I was hoping. Well, now pressure's on. Pressure's on to build. You got to find a way to add to that, because you cannot count on hope. You know what I mean? You can't put stock into, you can't put all your eggs in your Julio basket and just hope that happens. For that matter, even after Cal's season, there's a world where this is the best season Cal ever has, period, and that's it. And it's not saying that he's not going to hit 30 bombs in 26, or that he couldn't surpass 30, 35 bombs, in seasons to come. This may be the best year Cal ever has. It probably will be, because of a statistical anomaly that it is already. You can't build for this next year either. You can't count on Cal doing this.
No, you can't. This is look at Mike Piazza's best year. I believe it was 96, 97. Curtis, he had 40 bombs that year. I don't think he touched 40 again. This is one of those years where it's just special, especially at that position, because of what the body does and how it breaks down, and then guys transition to first base. No, this is 1 year that you'll probably never get again from Cal, and it's unfortunate that we're not there yet, but it's trending towards it being a waste because of what's around him.
We got a lot of Mariners questions, a lot of baseball questions for Yahoo Sports. Jake Mintz, he joins us in about 40 minutes. Before we get to that, though, let's talk some X's and O's with 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First Down Bump, what's something you'll never understand about players not attending mandatory minicamp?
Listen, I understand not going to the voluntary, but those mandatories, you're going to lose money. Like, Watt's not going to be there, but you don't have to participate, but just be there and be in the building, because you start losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. I just saw Henderson lost could lose about $105,000. Of course, Watt's going to lose money. Maybe I don't understand it because I don't make money like that.
Yeah.
And I just think that just be around, because at the end of the day, for the mandatory, you're around your boys. You're around guys who you're going to hopefully play with and have to trust and learn and teach. It's just more about the team rather than the organization itself. Like, forget the guys in the suits who are signing your checks and making all these moves. At this point, at the mandatories, now it's just about your boys. Voluntary, I don't care, man. Go do what you want to do. But be around the guys who are going to contribute and make plays with you. And you're losing money. I get them wanting to send a message to the organization, but it's not about them.
Second down. What's something you saw from the Seahawks last year that could have helped Grubb keep his job?
Man, so this is something that most coaches are good at. You script the first 10 plays. You script those plays, man, and you are locked in. It's flowing because you already know where you're going to go with the play. In case this play messes up, I'm still going to go there. All right, your first 10 have to feel like your last 10 and your middle 10. And I think that the way that plays were connected, I went back and watched their game against the 49ers. And the way Grubb was connecting those plays to start the game had me excited. I'm ready to go. But then you lose the connectivity, right? Then you lose kind of your identity. So I think that's I'm hoping that's something Kubiak's going to be great at. It's just, look, your first play looked like your first 10 looks like your middle 10 and your last 10 because they're all connected. There were times where Grubb did it, and I was reminded looking at that 49ers game and what he came out like 2 tight ends to the left side, boom, shift them over to the right, move a receiver, run the football. Then you get 2 tight ends to the right side, bam, move it to the left, play action over the top. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to connection. First 10 has to feel like your last 10, or last 10 feel like your first 10.
Third down. What's a good sign from Mike McDonald?
A good sign. I should have wrote this a little different. I should have said, what's a good sign from Mike McDonald that this team is moving in the right direction? He's cutting practices. He said, look, man, don't worry about Thursday. Now, we're going to do a 2-day mandatory camp. Hope this information is already out there, or I'll be getting a call from NASA Shelby here soon. But I'm going to let you guys rest on this third day because you're in such great shape, because you understand the playbook, because your effort is there, because you're giving me everything that I need from you right now. I'm okay with letting you guys go home a day or two early, that is a great sign. That means that guys are behaving and preparing like professionals, and they showed up and did what they're supposed to do, especially the rookies too. Those are the ones you worry about because they don't know what it's like to be a pro. They've never been here before. So the fact that Mike McDonald is saying to his guys, hey, let's get through these 2 days. You guys can go home. That's a good sign the team's moving in the right direction.
4th down. We're back to Jaire Alexander. Why are you almost sure that if the Hawks don't grab Jaire Alexander, there won't be any big moves made?
Because there's nobody else out there that can fit what's going on here. Like, you just look at the major free agents who are out there. There will be moves made. But I'm talking about major moves with a name that you recognize, and yeah, we're good. No, you got Keenan Allen. He's available. He's not going to come here, right? He's 33 years of age. He's going to want around $11 million. You got Von Miller. I don't think you're going to get a 36-year-old rusher. You got Amari Cooper. You got Brandon Scherf. If they wanted him, they would have been gotten him in this whole situation. He's a guard. You got Marcus Williams. You got Matt Judon, who made a move. You got Gabriel Davis, who made a move. There's just nothing else there as far as those big household names. Will they grab a lineman that gets cut from a team or something like that? Probably. Will they grab some DB or linebacker that no one really knows? Yeah, for sure. But as far as household names, I think that's it. Or maybe, you know what, I'm going to leave one name that they can still grab. Maybe Shaquille Griffin. All right, and that, for us, that's a household name. I don't know if in the NFL that's a household name, but maybe they grab Shaquille Griffin. There's not much out there when it comes to veterans and guys who have done a lot in this league. There's a lot out there, but not guys who are of the right age and of the right price and the right skill set for this organization.
You know what I think part of it, too, is I'm having a hard time figuring out if this team is on the verge of being a really, really competitive playoff team or not. And when you're on the verge of being a playoff team, or when you can go really deep into the playoffs, then a move like trading for Jamal Adams makes sense, because you go, okay, what's that missing piece, right? So all those teams that go out, maybe they overpay for Jaire Alexander, or maybe they make a huge trade with the Bengals to get Hendrickson or something like that. They do it because they think that's all they're missing. That's all they're missing, and then they're a Super Bowl team. The Seahawks, I wouldn't say have a ton of holes, but they also, I don't exactly know who they are. Like, I know who they want to be, but like, I'm having such a hard time. I saw way too early 2026 mock that had the Seahawks at 10. And I was thinking, like, I guess I could see a world where it happens. I don't think that'll happen. I really don't. But like, I think universally, national people especially are having a hard time figuring out, like, what is Seattle going to be?
Yeah, I think defensively they feel good about the team. It's the offense. You don't know, right? Because you saw the woes of last year. You got an unproven quarterback to some folks this year, a new offensive coordinator. Offensive line has had its struggles. Is this rookie going to be enough to kind of give these guys a push forward? The questions are on offense, and I think that's why people aren't sure. I mean, we're not sure. We still got to wait and see.
We haven't talked at all about the Stanley Cup Finals. That's coming up in the timeline, and then Hype Train at 11:45. Don't go anywhere.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Do you have a car you want to sell, but you just don't want to go through all the hassle? I don't blame you. With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people just aren't comfortable selling their own car. So what do you do if you want to get the most money for your car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your used car and pay you right up front for it, but once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most is, well, what's the catch? But there isn't one. Here's how it works. The program means Wayscar Ford saves money by not traveling to buy cars at auction. And that means not paying purchase fees, not paying shipping fees, not paying travel expenses. Now they can just share that saved money with you, their customer, rather than outside vendors. It's a win-win. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as competitors and share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you go anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers. It's only at Wayscar Ford in Auburn, wayscarford.com.
We at Three Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. Three Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
I'm sure by now you've heard interviews with a whole lot of people who took the First Mark Challenge and saved so much money on their insurance and got better coverage. We call them First Mark victories. Well, I too took the First Mark Challenge and am thrilled to say that First Mark is saving my family thousands. Now that's what I call a victory. Before we got married, my husband had been with the same agent for so long, I think we just assumed that they were working hard to get us the best coverage and save us money, but it wasn't the case. And we only knew that by taking the First Mark Challenge. First Mark works for you, not the insurance carriers. First Mark will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage, which could leave you at risk for financial loss. Then they carefully search the market, dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit. And that's it. First Mark Insurance has helped thousands of families successfully manage the complicated world of insurance and save them thousands, my family included. Be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Take the First Mark Challenge now. It's free. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Allergy and sinus symptoms are annoying. They're frustrating and can ruin an entire day. They're also curable. I'm Dr. Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We can free our patients of awful symptoms by testing and treating their allergies to simple, non-invasive treatments. Stop suffering from nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, facial pain, and even snoring. Let us help you get relief. Easily, quickly, and permanently. We're local in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us or book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It's the timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on your own timeline. As a reminder, a little change to the show today. Hype Train coming up at 11:45 because at 1 we are going all Mariners from 1 to 2 for the dugout, starting with Shannon, Drayer, Aaron Goldsmith, and Alex Mayer also joining us. So let's get to the timeline. Our first story here, we're starting with baseball. A's center fielder Denzel Clark made Major League Baseball's catch of the year last night after he scaled the fence at Anaheim to bring a home run back, cut number 6.
Now the 1-0 pitch to Nolan Shannon, left-hander hitter, fly ball left center. Denzel going back, earing the track, at the track, right to the wall, leaping, climbing the wall. Did he catch it? He did! You can't believe what this kid is doing in center field. He got himself suspended on top of the wall and brought it back for out number 2. Every day is a highlight show.
Yeah, every day is a highlight because he had another highlight that was absolutely phenomenal, just running straight into the wall. God, what was it? It was Mike Cameron responded to it, and I'm guessing it was from Baseball Savant. I don't know, but they had the catch probability of that catch by Clark at 95%, and there's just no way.
What are they smoking?
There's no way.
What are they looking at, 95%? He had to climb up there, put his right hand on top of the wall, reach about 3 to 4 feet past that, and catch that football. That was a typo. I'm just going to say that was a typo.
Maybe they meant 9.5?
Yeah, maybe they jacked that up. But no, that was a great play. That's what every outfielder dreams of, man. When we're playing as a kid, right, we set each other up, just act like we're robbing home runs and being like Griffey and all that. No, that was fun to watch. Definitely the catch of the year so far.
Remember last week when TNT NHL analyst Paul Bissonnette said Florida's lack of state income tax should be addressed in the league's next CBA? He was talking about how the Panthers have been able to build up such a great and dominant team. By the way, just blew the doors off the Oilers and said, well, that lack of income tax is going to obviously help them. Well, cut number 7, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman responded.
Any plans maybe in the future to implement a balance as far as the no state tax? And
no, you know, when you start,
I'm just asking.
It's a ridiculous issue. When the Florida teams weren't good, which was for about 17 years, okay, nobody said anything about it. And, you know, for those of you who played, okay, were you sitting there with the tax table? No, you wanted to go to a good organization in a place where you wanted to live, where you wanted to raise your kids and send them to school. You wanted to play in a first-class arena with a first-class training facility, with an owner, an organization, a GM, and a coach that you were comfortable with, and you wanted to have good teammates so you'd have a shot at winning. That's what motivates it. Could it be a little bit of a factor if everything else were equal? I suppose, but that's not it.
I know it's always very in vogue to disagree with a commissioner and say they just don't get it, but Gary's right.
He's absolutely right, man. It's about the organization itself. It's about the training, the coaching, the development. Obviously, money plays a factor into it and how much you get to keep, but guys just don't want to go play for teams that are bad because of money. That's towards the end of your career, right? And at that point, you don't have the ability that you used to have back in the day. No, I think it's ridiculous. They did smack the Oilers yesterday, though.
Let's see. Do I want to keep? No, we'll get back to that later. We'll get to the Stanley Cup playoffs and Hype Train. I'll make a reminder for myself because we haven't spent enough time on that game. Next up, College Game Day has announced the location of Lee Corso's final show. Where else? Texas versus Ohio State in Columbus on August 30th. The Horseshoe was the site of Corso's first ever headgear selection back in '96, which, contrary to popular belief, was not 20 years ago.
I know, right?
Right? That's thing still.
Man.
And I would say anyone older than 30 is probably in that space where the 70s, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
The 80s, 20 years ago. 90s, between 15 and 20 years ago, surely.
Yeah, but no, this is good for Corso, man. He's been a staple in college football. I don't remember college football without Lee Corso. Obviously, there was college football without him. But he needs to finish where he started and make sure that Cougar flag is still waving in the background when he goes out.
Man, it's going to be do you guys know the future? Is it just going to be like they're replacing him with someone else? I haven't paid close enough attention.
I mean, their panel's pretty big because they just added Nick Saban last year, and they've added Pat McAfee in the last couple of years. I think they've already got like 4 or 5 guys on it. So I don't think they're going to bring on anybody else, and I can't imagine anybody else doing the mascot selection.
No, speaking of Nick Saban, because this is what happened for me. Is there anyone, a coach or player, that you remember hating but liked so much more when he became a broadcaster? That's how I feel about Nick Saban.
Hating? I never didn't like Nick Saban. I didn't agree with some of the things that he did. But no, for the most part, no, I can't think of anybody. No.
No one for like NBA on TNT where you were like, oh man, I'd like that. That guy just drove me crazy.
Well, Draymond used to drive me crazy.
Yeah.
And he's good on the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one. Curtis, do you have one?
Boy.
I've got like a million. I don't know about you guys. Like I found Tony Romo to be annoying as a player, but I like him as a broadcaster.
As a player, what did he do? Because he didn't win?
No, something about him. I don't know. He had kind of like that, like Phillip Rivers energy to me, where I couldn't explain it, but I just had a dislike that there's no reason. No rhyme or reason for it.
Alex Rodriguez is one that has surprised me.
Alex Rodriguez, I liked more when he was with J-Lo, because something about them as a couple was so ostentatious.
Yeah.
It was age appropriate. It was ostentatious. Like someone took a photo of him taking a photo of her on the red carpet, going over the top, and I was like, dang, that's in my mind how I imagine A-Rod. Yeah. Next up. 2 youth baseball players at a tournament in Puyallup this past weekend combined for one of the strangest sights you'll ever see. So on one field,
that's crazy.
12-year-old Jazz Espinoza of Sumner fouled a pitch off. And then as that foul ball was landing on another field, 12-year-old Lucian Vachon of Maple Valley was going into his swing. He makes contact with the pitch that was thrown and the foul ball from Jazz that was just landing in front of him. From our sister station on 87.3 Cairo Radio, the odds of that happening are casual, 1 in 1.13 trillion.
You'll never see that again.
Is it weird to think that if 2 fields are close to each other, those feel like really high odds?
Those feel like high.
Those feel like high. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, you're telling me that foul balls never go into a neighboring park when these 2 fields are next to each other?
Oh, it happens all the time.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It happens all the time.
1 in 1.13 trillion? I don't know about that.
But hitting a pitch and a foul ball at the same time, that's the first time that's ever happened in the human race.
It's really too bad that Lucian can't enter a lotto. He's too young.
It'd be like Bump if you're on the golf course, somebody hits an errant shot, and it gets into your swing, you hit both balls at the same time. Like that's insanity.
That's even more rare because the head of the golf club is so small too.
Yeah.
That's just amazing. I had to double check that information when I read that story.
Well, I didn't understand it at first, so I thought that he fouled the ball off and then it was coming back down, and for some reason they pitched again with another ball. At first for me, I was very confused. It took me way too long.
Did you guys see over the weekend, it was a San Francisco Giants game, and the ball was being thrown in from the outfield on a play at the plate, and it made contact with another ball on the field, and people were like, how did this ball get on the field? And no one knew. And then somebody did some digging on the San Francisco Giants Reddit page 3 weeks ago. Somebody posted, do you think a fan could throw a ball from the 300 level and reach the field? Any old fan. And now people are wondering, did somebody throw the ball from the 300 level?
Yes.
Just to test out that experiment.
Absolutely.
And then it interfered with play on the field.
Did you two see the post that I sent you from X? 20% of people with a gambling problem file for bankruptcy. Someone said, every time I pass this billboard, I laugh because someone with a gambling problem is going to take 80-20 odds all
day. Taking those odds.
I felt really bad laughing, but it was objectively funny. All right. We've got Mariners Talk with Yahoo Sports' Jake Mintz coming up at noon. We're going to take a look around the NFL. What I need to know at 12:45. Get your questions in 866-979-3776. Send those in now because we're doing that early, and then it's all Mariners from 1 to 2. Hype Train coming your way next.
Seahawks head coach Mike Macdonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here. And I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about, and the guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Rally Auto Sales reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Text behind the wheel or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Doyle Guffey's Rally Auto Sales. Family owned and proudly serving the Puget Sound area since 1978. Online at rallyauto.com.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Canty here. Light up the night with Glow Motion, the all-new flavor from 5 Hour Energy. It's a fruity burst in a bottle that glows under UV light. Glow Motion has as much caffeine as a premium cup of coffee and 0 sugar. Just what you need to stay up celebrating your team winning a championship. And at only 2 ounces, it's perfect for runners, ravers, and anyone who refuses to stop. So whether you're dancing, gaming, or just flexing your vibe, Glow Motion shines. Literally, 5 Hour Energy Glow Motion is available online. Head to 5hourenergy.com and order yours today.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Small's here. It's time to turn things up a notch. This summer, don't binge watch shows. Binge s'mores by the campfire. Press pause on the podcast and press play on the warm weather vibes. Here's your chance to win $10,000 for your ultimate summer. What are you waiting for? Take your shot with 5 Hour Energy and make this summer your best summer ever. Visit 5heshot.com for full details and rules and enter today. No purchase necessary. Ends June 30th, 2025.
Summer's here, and seasonal businesses are hiring everything from hiking guides to surf instructors and more. Whether you're hiring for one of these roles or any other role, you need ZipRecruiter to find qualified candidates fast. ZipRecruiter's smart technology gets to work as soon as you post a job, diving in to find great matches and showing you top picks right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/USL to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
June is Men's Health Month, and we want to place a special emphasis on prostate cancer awareness and treatment. Prostate cancer can be silent. It's important to get checked, even if you have no symptoms. Ask your primary care doc for a PSA screening if you're 50 or over, and 45 if there's a family history. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment at Swedish Cyberknife right here in Seattle. It only takes 5 short treatment sessions. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from.
Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up in 15 minutes, Yahoo Sports' Jake Mintz joins us to answer some of our questions about the Mariners. Before we get to that, let's head to the station for Hype Train. First one in, starting with the Stanley Cup playoffs, which we haven't really touched on too much today. Panthers winning a blowout over Edmonton. The Oilers, Panthers facing again in a repeat of last year's Stanley Cup finals. Both teams obviously elite. The Panthers might have erased even more flaws. I mean, they are favored in this one for a reason. That's your first Hype Train. The Panthers are taking over. Florida wins out to repeat as Stanley Cup champs.
They're not going to repeat? That was a question? No, they're not repeat, man. I'm going Edmonton. I need Connor McDavid, the greatest hockey player of this generation, to go out and do what you're supposed to do. You know what's tough, though? The Panthers are so deep, man. And they play physical. It's a different brand. If McDavid and his boy don't do something magical, it's going to be rough. I think the Panthers are going to win, but I'm not going to put that out there. Vibes to the Oilers. Go Canada. Get it done.
Florida wins out to repeat as Stanley Cup champs. Just won in a blowout over Edmonton. Bump is not boring. He wants this one for Connor McDavid. Curtis, are you?
It feels like Game 4 is going to be what decides this series because the Panthers, if they win, they're going up 3-1. If it's tied 2-2, it goes back to Edmonton for Game 5. I like the Oilers' chances in that, but it's in Florida. They looked so good last night, just punching Edmonton in the mouth, winning 6-1. It's going to be hard to pick against the Panthers, so I'm going to say yes, they do repeat. We're boarding this train.
Yeah, I'm going to board this train too, and I don't want to admit that, but I just think that they are. Bump, you mentioned them being an even deeper team than they were last year. And last year they won.
Yeah.
So Stanley Cup champs became a better team. And as much as I, like you, want this for Connor McDavid, I don't know if the Oilers get this done. I know it's an unfortunate train. Next up, Bryce Miller to the IL with a right arm injury. Logan Evans in his place getting the start today for the Mariners. We will see Bryce Miller pitch for the Mariners again this season.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I know, I'm putting you on the spot.
You know what? I think that Logan's gonna do so good. Both the Logans. Evans, Gilbert's gonna come back. Castillo's gonna be straight. Woo's gonna be cool. And they're gonna be like, Miller, just take the rest of the year off, dog. Just chill. And no, so he's not, unfortunately.
It would be in the best interest of the Mariners marketing department if both Logans could have some really great outings, and they could have like the Logie Hoagie. Or like, you know what I mean? I'm just throwing ideas out there. Logie Hoagie maybe isn't the way to go, but there could be some other stuff. I just don't know what else rhymes with Logan.
Logan.
And unfortunately, Logan, I don't know. We'll wait for Evans to take off. We got to make sure that this promotion can actually happen. Curtis, we will see Bryce Miller pitch for the Mariners again this season.
I want to board this train. I just feel like the two IL stints this close together means there might be a little bit more going on with his arm. I'm not feeling confident, so I'm not boarding this train. I don't have any inside info on this. It's just a hunch, and I think the Mariners might realize that, hey, Bryce Miller healthy in 2026 and beyond might be a little more valuable than just kind of running him back out there and having him pitch at 65-70% full strength. So I don't think we see it for him this season. And Logan Evans looked the part during his time up. Emerson Hancock has pitched pretty well. over the last couple months. So I think they've got the depth to weather this storm. So I'm going to say he does not pitch the rest of the season.
Stacy's been thinking about that sandwich name all night. You know what? No, just right off the top of the head. That's what I'm good at, is just thinking of sandwich names and words that rhyme.
It's good improv.
It's the only thing I'm good at. And the Logie Hoagie, is maybe the best thing I've done this calendar year.
Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we'll see Bryce again for the Mariners this season. I really hope we do. I'll board this train, and I'll take a page from Bump's book and go on vibes alone for this one. No reason. Next up. The Mariners have several names eligible on this all-star ballot. Ballot is open, by the way. You can vote up to 5 times per day every day through June 26 at MLB.com/vote. The Mariners will get more than one all-star.
I gotta live in reality with this one. I gotta live in reality. See, if Julio played on a bigger market team, right? Maybe the millions and millions would pour in and support him, but because he's tucked up here in Seattle and he's not doing anything near what he did to capture just people's attention, yeah, I'm gonna say nah, it's just Cal.
Wow, full paid. The Mariners will get more than one all-star. Curtis. Bump refuses to board because he doesn't like fun. Are you boarding this train?
I'm boarding. Cal's making it duh. But I think Andres Munoz, he's going to be in the bullpen for the AL. Outside of those two, I don't think it's going to be really. David Schoenfield has his like early All-Star projections right now. He has Julio on the AL All-Star team.
Really?
He has him as a reserve. I don't see it right now. Maybe who's going to be the AL manager? It's Aaron Boone is the AL manager. Maybe he picks Julio based off of name recognition, but I think it's Cal, and I think it's Andres Munoz.
All right, I'll board.
I'm going to board that train like when it comes back around. Because I forgot about Munoz.
That's the same thing as the train. It's just it's kind of one of those things where they're like, we have 5 more minutes. We're waiting at the gate. Michael Bumpus, we have you. We're waiting at the gate.
Stacy and I hopped on the 3:30 train. You're on the 4 o'clock train.
Yeah.
So, we're going to get to the same destination.
And like most things, it was only when Curtis went, Stacy, you have to do this. And I went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you check in yet?
Last one. Matt's going to hate this one. Water is better flavored.
That doesn't make it water anymore.
No, listen, it does. First of all, it does. No, it does. Water is better flavored. I'm talking about with like little flavoring. And the reason that Bump is hesitating is because he knows the answer is yes.
No.
Water is better flavored.
Nah.
But he's not sure how to.
When I'm parched, I'm thirsty, I'm dehydrated. I don't want water to taste like anything but water. So no.
What about when you're just at a restaurant? You sit down and they're like, what would you like us to get?
I don't think I've ordered anything other than water or beer in a very long time.
Like a little Crystal Light, a little pink lemonade, a little tart, a little tartness to the water.
That makes it lemonade. That doesn't make it water anymore,
a little bubbles,
Stacey.
some bubbles in the water.
Are you bringing Crystal Light packets to restaurants?
No.
You know she is.
That is psychopath behavior.
Water is better flavored. Bump's refusing to board.
Just order the lemonade if you're at a restaurant. You don't have to.
That's too much sugar. No. Curtis, are you boarding this train?
No, I'm not boarding this train.
You guys are stupid. You guys just want
We're
plain
adults.
old
We're not
boring
children.
water. Boring water.
I bet you get full off appetizers before your main course comes to. You're like, actually, I'm done. I've had juice and water. I'm good. I juice and appetizers.
I really need to wean myself off of sparkling water and flavored water to just having water, but I don't know when that day will come. I know I can do it. I've done it before.
Do you know you can do it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Right now, when I'm really thirsty, you know what sounds especially thirst quenching?
What?
A crispy Diet Coke. A little bit of lemon.
Ow.
A little bit of lemon, real crispy, like a fountain
Diet Coke when you are dehydrated.
Soda's not quenching the thirst.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that's why you're so small. It was the nutrients you were giving yourself. You could have had like 3 more inches on you.
That, and we're very Italian and very short. Yahoo Sports, Jake Mintz joining us next.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We got a lot of baseball to talk with Jeff Passan today.
This is now a 29-game stretch where we're 11-18. Who are these Mariners on June 10th?
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I mean, I don't even know. It would look like the Rockies.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Dan Wilson announced after yesterday's Mariners loss that Bryce Miller will head to the IL with a right arm injury. Logan Evans will get the start today for Seattle against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Seahawks don't have any holdouts, but other teams around the league are experiencing a few of their own. Steelers edge TJ Watt and Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin are among those missing practice today.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, it's Yahoo Sports' Jake Mintz. Jake, how's it going?
Another beautiful day in paradise. Thank you folks for having me.
We're excited to have you. It is literally a beautiful day. We're here at Seahawks headquarters, and the Mariners are in beautiful weather, I guess, in Arizona. If only we were seeing some beautiful offense, but we're not. I'm going to start with kind of the turn that this team has had on offense. I know that you and Jordan were talking a bit, obviously, to start the year about what the Mariners were doing, whether or not it was here to last, and it seems like the only thing here to last has been Cal, because everyone else has cooled off. Tell me what you're seeing offensively from Seattle.
They're not controlling the zone. You know, that's been a big mantra for this group on both sides of the baseball over the last couple of years. And I think one of the reasons that there was optimism about the Mariners in the first month was that they were walking a lot and they weren't striking out that much. That has really changed. That strikeout to walk number has backed up month over month. And now so far in June, it is just like the worst in baseball so far in June, ahead of only the Rockies, which doesn't really count. But yes, Cal Raleigh cannot do everything on this baseball team as much as he will try to do that.
What's more surprising to you, the start that the Mariners had or the place they are today?
It's a great question. Here's a boring answer. Anything in a small sample in baseball, it's hard to be too surprised by. I think, however, I would say their start. Just because it wasn't like they were okay offensively. It was jaw-droppingly awesome. Now, I think we all maybe felt that the Jorge Polanco God-level 3 weeks had an expiration date on it, and I think that's certainly the case. But the rest of this offense besides Cal really has taken quite a step back, but it's in line with what we've seen from this group over the last number of years.
One, I shouldn't say defense, but one piece of context that I always hear if we're ever critical about the Mariners is, well, Jerry DiPoto in that front office kind of has one arm behind their back, like they're on a limited budget. And I can understand the argument. However, Jake, as you know, when we're talking about, oh, they can't spend like the Dodgers, really only the Dodgers do. And then beyond them, you have like the Mets, who are big spenders. Obviously, a couple other teams in there, the Yankees. But it's not like these teams are winning the World Series every single year. There are many teams that are not top 3 or even top 5 spenders in baseball that go on to win a World Series, even though there's a correlation between spending and winning. Where can the Mariners find themselves? Like, where are they missing the mark?
So the way I try and describe money in baseball, it's really money in life. Right? Money cannot buy you happiness, but man, it can help. You know, like it's not a bad thing. And I think that is the case in baseball. The Mariners, what is frustrating about them is that they have done a lot right that should, in theory, allow them to open up spending. So what I mean by that is the pitching staff is young and cheap and controllable, besides Luis Castillo. And that's the type of unit that so many other teams across baseball would love to have. And you would think that that would almost motivate the Mariners to kind of put their foot down and make the most of this particular window. And I think that, you know, the Cal extension and the Julio extension are important data points. But no matter when you watch this team, they always feel like they're just one or two more adult hitters away. Now, I think that they are going to be fairly aggressive at the deadline this year and will go out and add a bat. I think first base is kind of an obvious place to go and do that. Baltimore's Ryan O'Hearn feels like a really comfy fit there. But yeah, like I think it's totally fair for fans to remain frustrated because they've accomplished the hard part in a lot of ways. And it's also okay to be frustrated at these other teams that are spending a lot of money. I don't think that it's a bad thing. I think the more money that flows into the sport is good for the sport. But it's also tough to, like, I'm not going to tell a Mariners fan not to be frustrated at what the Dodgers are doing. Like, it's frustrating.
You said adult hitters. So we have some adolescent hitters in this lineup right now, in Williamson and Young. What do you see from them? What do you project from those guys? I know it's early, just a little sample size, just your analysis on them.
Well, I mean, they're a little bit different. You know, Young has a lot more prospect pedigree, and I think with time can become a good contributor. I think with any player, particularly offensive player, there are guys that you can win with and guys that you can win because of, if that makes sense. And I think that Cal and Julio are guys that you win because of. And I'm not sure how many other offensive pieces the Mariners have in that regard. Now, they do have a lot of talent percolating up through the system on the offensive side. Cole Young is kind of one of the first players in this next wave. So I think how he adjusts is really important. Williamson, I see more as like a valuable bench piece more than a guy who should be starting every day at third base.
You mentioned Ryan O'Hearn, and you're certainly not the first person I've heard mention him as a potential target for the Mariners. It makes a lot of sense, obviously, with what they need. In a seller's market, are we looking at an uncomfortable price tag? What kind of trade does that guy command?
So, not that much. He's a first baseman with 2.5 months of control, 2 months, 2.5 if you make the playoffs, right? So I don't think it'll break the bank. It certainly is going to be a seller's market because there is no obvious needle-moving superstar that's going to get dealt this year. And I think that's important to understand, is that all the best free agents for this upcoming class, Kyle Tucker, Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman, Framber Valdez, pitcher for the Astros, they're all on contending teams or teams that plan to contend. And so there's no bad team with big deal player looking to move that guy. We saw a lot of that last year. The selling teams a year ago, that was the Marlins, the White Sox, the Pirates a little bit. They sold last year and they didn't really get like a new round of players to sell. So I don't think it's going to be quiet. I just don't think this deadline season is going to be necessarily headline grabbing. But specifically to your question, O'Hearn is someone who should not break the bank as far as prospects go.
Any concerns about the rotation as it stands right now? It's unfortunate Miller is on the IL. I'm excited for Logan. Last time we saw him, he looks good. Woo's been holding it down. They're definitely not being talked about the way they were to start the season as possibly the best rotation in the game. Where do they stand with you today?
So part of what made the Mariners so impressive as a pitching group is how healthy everyone was staying, right? Now, that's been the biggest difference between this year and last year, with Miller now going on the IL, with Gilbert having missed time, with Kirby having missed time. That's the biggest difference. And availability is like, that's the whole thing with pitching, right? Now, I think the guys that have stepped in have performed admirably. I know we've seen only 6 starts from Logan Evans, and he's been good in those starts. Emerson Hancock has been up and down a little bit. But when you have these injuries, having that second line of depth is so important. I don't really have concern with the Mariners pitchers when healthy. I just have concern of these guys all staying healthy.
Jake, I love having you on today for many reasons, but for this one in particular. Bump and I have been having a conversation today off and on about the Mariners, and it's been one of frustration because what we're seeing is an offense that we kind of anticipated we'd see, rearing its head in a time when you're begging it not to. And I find your Orioles to be a very interesting kind of flipped mirror image of the Mariners. Both of these teams knew exactly what they needed to do going into the offseason. Both of them took a risk that not everyone agreed with, and then we're watching the consequences of maybe that risk not paying off. I'm curious, from the point of view of a Baltimore fan, what risk did the Orioles take? Like, what were they trying to do, or what was the bet that they made, not really going after pitching? And then if you could apply the same kind of question to Seattle.
I mean, for the Mariners, we think we can get enough offense from the pieces we have. And for the Orioles, it was that, but with pitching. The difference is the Orioles went out and did spend some real money on pitching. They gave Charlie Morton $15 million. They gave Tomoyuki Sugano $13 million, reliever $8 million. And so the critique there is not that you spent the money maybe correctly. I know Sugano has been good for Baltimore, but Morton has just been really bad. Late in camp, is terrible. I think that the biggest difference between these is that the Mariners have Cal Raleigh and the Orioles don't. And I know that Gunnar Henderson is a player who, when he's cooking with gas, is on that same level as Cal. But when you're a catcher, you're just touching so many different parts of the organization at one time. And what's frustrating for people in Baltimore is that Adley Rutschman was supposed to be what Cal Raleigh is, and has been kind of below those expectations. And it's hard to see the Orioles fulfilling that potential if Rutschman doesn't fulfill his potential. And so I think that's the biggest difference between these two teams right now, and why I think the Mariners, despite all the flaws, are going to stick around in the playoff mix, while I think the Orioles are going to end up selling at the deadline.
All-star voting is open. 5 times a day they can vote. Fans vote for your guys, and we do something called Hype Train, where we figure out if we're on the train with the statement that was said, or we're off the train, or we don't agree with the statement. One of the hype trains was that the Mariners will have 2 All-Stars this year. I said no. I went 1, but then I forgot about Munoz and said, okay, when the train comes back around, I'm going to get back on.
You said shame on me.
Yeah. So what do you think? How many All-Stars do you think are on this squad?
So the line is 2.5, for sure. And it's silly, right? Because Cal is just the biggest lock ever. The dudes who I think could get in would be J.P. Bird, Julio, in addition to Munoz, who I think is probably a lock as well. The idea that we wouldn't have a Mariners starting pitcher at the All-Star game feels impossible, but also, given how the season has played out, it seems likely now at this point. I will say 2. I think that the number of shortstops in the American League, with Henderson, Bobby Witt Jr., Jacob Wilson on the A's, Zach Neto on the Angels, Jeremy Pena on the Astros, is just going to be too much for JP to overcome. And
do we still have you there, Jake?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Last one for me here. I don't like the Astros, which will not surprise you at all. And part of it is the same reason when I was younger that I hated the Yankees. It's just like a rich getting richer thing. And when you don't have that, growing up a Seahawks fan, you hate the Patriots. If you grow up in the 2000s, it's just it's straight jealousy. And any Astros fan calling me out for that, saying you're jealous, I'd say, yeah, and I don't know what else you want me to add to that. I need to hear an argument, Jake, from you that there is a path that exists where the Mariners win the AL West and the Astros do not. I fundamentally, in my bones, need to hear that take.
Does the path exist? Yeah. Are you going to find that path? No. You know that. And that's why you asked me the question.
Yeah.
The inevitability of the Houston Astros team for you and all Mariners fans is beyond infuriating, but that is the reality of the situation, right? And what's frustrating about it this year is that this Astros team isn't that good compared to what we've seen. Yordan Alvarez has been hurt all year. Altuve's kind of washed now, and they're leading the division because Jeremy Pena has been amazing. It's a very odd Astros team, a very new Astros team in some ways, but don't get it twisted. They're going to break your heart again. And I wish I had better news for you.
That's okay. I mean, look, like I said earlier, it's when you understand the pain of a team failing you or a team, making frustrating decisions, it's easier to take that feedback versus, getting a Yanks fan on here who's like, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't be me. I'm so sorry.
But to be clear, that is, I think, why the Mariners' passivity in the winter is particularly frustrating this time. Because 3 years ago when the Astros were winning 100 games and the playoffs were smaller, there is an argument to, oh, well, you know what? We're not going to surpass them. Yeah. Let's be smart. Let's hold our chips. Let's plan for the future. Let's save the resources. But now this division stinks and is wide open and is there for the taking. The Rangers have really disappointed. I have zero faith in the Angels. The Athletics just won their first series in a month. And so there is a world for the first time that feels realistic of the Mariners winning this division, and yet they've just kind of lowered their level of intensity in terms of the roster construction to just match the overall mediocrity going on in that division.
All right. He is Yahoo Sports, Jake Mintz. First of all, do you have a message you'd like us to pass along to your co-host Jordan tomorrow? And secondly, what should we expect from Baseball Barbie-cast this week?
College World Series preview, which we're very excited about, which has a super fun narrative this year, which is that 3 of the teams from the RIP Pac-12 made it to Omaha for the College World Series with Oregon State, UCLA, and Arizona.
Bear down.
So
that's right.
you could kill the man, but you can't kill the idea. Yeah. So we're definitely going to talk about that this week. Pretty amped about it. And if you could just let Jordan know, next time I come on your guys' show, he shouldn't call me in the middle of it, which he just did.
Shame on you, Jordan.
Jordan shoots me a FaceTime call 15 minutes ago. There you go.
Oh, Jordan. Okay, we'll let him know. We'll let him know how rude it. We'll save the sound and we'll play it for him so that he can know that we saw that and none of us appreciated it, frankly. He is Jake Mintz. Jake, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bubba and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Bryce Miller is headed back to the injured list with the same arm injury that sidelined him earlier this season. Logan Evans will take his spot in the rotation. What's the real headline?
When it rains, it pours, which is interesting to say about Seattle in June.
Yeah, it is. And, this might be some good news, honestly, because his injury was really affecting him. So it's not like a decline just naturally, right? He doesn't have his stuff anymore. My man was hurt. And here's also the good thing is that we've seen Logan Evans play. And the last time he was out there, he was doing his thing. So the young man gets more reps, and then the other young man gets some rest. We'll see how this thing pans out. But I don't feel as bad about this as I would have a few months ago, not knowing what Logan Evans can do.
Yeah, I think at this point, going through a rash of injuries that this team had kind of nearing the end of April, going into May, at this point you're kind of like, well, what else is new?
Yeah.
Oh, you're losing Miller again. I'd be, like you said, I'd be far more concerned if it was like Woo's gone. Yeah. Or, God, if Cal got hurt, right? Knock on wood. Don't worry, I did. Those are kind of the ones that you absolutely can't risk. But, I don't know, maybe more time off is what Miller needs, like you said. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Seahawks signed punter Michael Dixon to a 4-year extension that makes him the highest paid punter in the league, beating out the Raiders' A.J. Cole by $200,000. What's the real headline?
Pete and John are having a good old-fashioned punt-off right now.
Good old punt-off.
Yep.
And Mike's winning because he got the best punter in the game.
Right.
I believe his career average is either top 1 or 2 all-time right now. Yeah, man, the Aussie from Texas has been good. 2018, I believe he was drafted, and he's never looked back. marveled at something a punter has done other than John Ryan throwing a touchdown pass. You know what I mean? Like, Michael Dixon has kicked some punts to where, as a former returner, I'm looking back at the guy returning the ball and saying, good luck to you, because the point of the ball is going to turn quickly. It's going to drop quickly. You have to run back 20 yards. He makes life difficult. He flips the field. That's what you want.
You know what's we've asked every single time we have on a player who played either in a different era or even just, 5-10 years ago, we'll say, hey, what's changed? We've talked a lot about linebackers. We've talked a lot about wide receivers. We've talked about what's changed from your point of view for slot receivers. What's changed for punt returners?
Punters kick it higher and they kick it further, and they have different type of punts. I mean, they had a few punts back in the day when I was playing, but they're just more skilled now, man. They're shaping their shots. It's like, I'm going to draw this, I'm going to fade this, I'm going to hit a stinger, I'm going to rip the sledge off the what?
Rip the tee off the sledgeway.
Rip the tee off the sledgeway. They got a lot of things that they can do. So, rip the sledge off the tee. But no, they're just more skilled, man, and they place the ball where they want it.
What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, Steelers star TJ Watt will not be in attendance for Steelers minicamp this week. What's the real headline?
Steelers' toughest contract of the offseason isn't Aaron Rodgers after all.
Nah, Aaron's was easy.
Yeah.
That was cheap, too.
Yep.
$13 million, potential to make 20. Agent said it's been sitting around for a little bit. This one's going to be tough because he's going to have to get paid like one of the best in the game in Watt, because that's exactly what he is, one of the best in the game. I can't imagine they don't get this done. You don't want a guy like him out there on the market or requesting trade or whatnot. They'll get this thing done, but I just don't know why it takes so long. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
Pay him.
What's this film that you're watching here, Bump? Look at this nerd.
Those Niners film. I mean, Seahawks versus Niners from last year.
Wow. Okay, we get it.
We get it. You watch
like football.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seeing how we can get better,
Oh, okay.
Seeing how we get better.
How often do you just, like the way that I'll just shop online while I'm watching TV? How often do you just kind of watch film casually?
A few times a week. Yeah.
Just check it out.
See what we lost.
Yeah.
What we can gain. Last week I did a lot of defensive film. This year I'm going offense.
Oh, that's cool. Stacy and I, we have our own film study class that we teach.
Yep.
Kirsten and Stacy teach film better than Shane Waldron, LLC.
LLC.
Shane Waldron.
Yeah, Caleb Williams is currently enrolled in our class.
We're teaching him how to watch film. And
exactly. And I think maybe you could stand to learn a thing or two, from us.
Yeah. How much is it?
It is $299 per class per day. $299.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we like to think we're one of the more affordable options.
So. Yeah.
For people nearby. So, it's a 12-week, 7-day week class.
Yeah, we're just grinding tape.
We're just grinding tape.
Yeah.
We also have a separate one where I just kind of I don't like watching Love Island USA by myself. So part of the class is requiring everyone to kind of watch with me. That's also some of the film that we study.
Stacey just kind of throws thoughts at us.
That's
we
for
have
free,
to digest
though. I don't charge
it.
people for that. That's for free.
It's a lesson in blocking out the noise.
Yeah,
is what
exactly.
It is.
Yes. Yep. And then in blocking, people that are there for not the right reasons.
That's exactly.
If they're not there for the right reasons, they're not there to find love in the villa.
I bet your class is packed.
It is. In addition to Caleb, we have a number of other.
Nathan Peterman. Mason
Blake
Rudolph.
Bortles is one of our students.
Those are your best students.
We've got some great success stories.
Christian Ponder, Sam Ponder, the entire Ponder family is in that class. We've got some 5th graders as well. We allow all ages. It's an all ages course.
All right.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Buck and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot.
I need a promo code.
Here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners take on the Diamondbacks in Game 2 of their 3-game series. Pregame starts at 5:30 p.m. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. The Seahawks didn't have any holdouts in minicamp, and that's great news, but several big names around the league are skipping minicamp, including TJ Watt, who you just heard about. We'll tell you what you need to know coming up in NFL Headlines.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news. This August, luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start in the AFC East Patriots camp, where new Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs in Cut 24 addressed his recent viral video.
Obviously, I want to be as candid with you guys as possible. I kind of like have a thing where talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally. I'm pretty sure everybody here, men and women, are great people, but you know what I'm saying, I kind of keep my personal life personal. I had a conversation with Drapes, obviously. I'm going to echo everything that he said. He told me, hoping everybody making good decisions, you know what I'm saying? And I had a conversation with people in the building as well, so, everything else is everything else. The particulars is all internal.
I could not be a reporter at that camp because you already know that I'd be like, so how long have you and Cardi been seeing each other?
No, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't, but I'd want to know. Like, that's what I want to know. I want to know, is Offset in the picture at all? What's Cardi like? Is she, is this a serious, exclusive thing? I'd have for real. These are the important journalistic integrity-style questions that these reporters aren't getting to the bottom of.
So there's a young man that I trained who's in camp with the Patriots. He plays the same position. I texted him and I said, don't go on boats with Stephon Diggs. And he starts laughing. He goes, nah, he's cool, Coach. I know, I'm sure he's cool, but you just focus on making this team, okay? Don't go on any boats.
Diggs doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, Diggs
He knows he's
good.
making the team.
Uh-huh.
He knows he's
But
talented.
you?
He's accomplished a ton.
You go straight to your hotel room, son.
No hanging out with Cardi for you.
Nah. Wait.
None.
Your second contract, do whatever you want.
Next up, ESPN's Field Yates thinks teams won't have to rank the. I can't cut. Matt.
Spit it out, Stacy.
Matt, just go to cut number 9.
Okay, so in cut number 9, Field Yates talks about the market for Jaire Alexander.
I think people hear the name Jaire Alexander, Laura, and they go, all right, let me Google how much cap space my team has left right now. Can I go out there and afford this former All-Pro player at a really important position? And then you kind of look under the hood a little bit and you ask yourself, what kind of player is Jaire Alexander viewed as around the NFL now in the open market? You guys mentioned the 14 games over the past 2 seasons, which means 20 missed. Go 2 more years back, 34 of the past 68 games. He's just as likely as he is unlikely to be on the field. I think the market, when he does sign, there will be one, and he could sign very quickly. I think you hear the name Jaire Alexander and you expect, again, how much is it going to take? Might be a lot more modest than people currently are forecasting.
See, Stacy, it's not that hard. Get it together.
For a modest price bump, would you want to see the Seattle Seahawks at Jaire Alexander?
For sure. Yep, go get him.
What
I
would he bring?
understand. He's a great cover guy. Good hips. Yes, he has not been able to stay healthy. I understand that. But this might be the year. And if you can get him for the low, I mean, he's getting like 18, 20 million right now. You don't get it for that. You get him under 10 if you can. Maybe around 10,
Yeah.
you make that move. But I definitely take a look.
Do you remember Bo Melton?
Yes.
He was a late draft pick, I want to say 6th or 7th round wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. He went to the Packers, had a solid year with Green Bay in his first season. Right now, he is getting work at corner.
Bo Melton is.
I swear. There were videos coming from Packers camp. It popped up on quite literally my timeline earlier today, so I threw it into NFL headlines for us for a reason. It's not to say, do you think that Bo will be great at cornerback? That's not what this is. What this is a fun little exercise for us to pick a current Seahawks wide receiver we think would best make a defensive back, and a defensive back that we think we could turn into a wide receiver.
Just JSN. I think he could be a good DB. a DB we can turn into a receiver.
Wait, why would JSN make a good DB?
Just his body type, the way he moves, his size, good ball skills.
I would
good
make
hips.
Derek Young a DB.
Nah, he's too thick. He's too big. He'd be like a safety.
Put him in the box.
Wide receiver, or DB to wide receiver is easy. Rick Willen, because he played the position in college.
What if I take Reek off?
You take Reek off, then Spoon, put him in the slot.
Okay. Nice slot guy.
Yep.
What about Coop?
Nice receiver.
You know?
Yeah.
What about...
He might be better at quarterback or something.
Do you know how many people right now are saying, what about Bobo?
Hundreds of thousands of people are saying, what about Bobo?
What about Jake Bobo? I saw him make a one-handed catch bump with my own eyes at OTAs last week.
Man.
Maybe that's an interception, you know?
Maybe.
Maybe. Let's talk about another receiver. One not at camp who definitely should be. Is this a problem for the Commanders? We're going to go to cut 23. Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin is continuing his holdout. Commanders coach Dan Quinn had this to say.
Hey, sometimes football and business, they intersect. And this is one of those times. Terry is a fantastic teammate and really puts in the work and spent a lot of time with him already this offseason. So, but let's, the business side of things, Adam and their crew and Terry and his group, they'll let them work through that.
Terry McLaurin bump is one of those interesting receivers to me when you're talking about contract value, where you go, well, he's not like 1, 2, 3 in the league, but he is so good. He's on a team that I need to pull up Washington's cap space, but last time I checked had more cap space than the average team. Again, I need to double check. Don't take my word for it right now. So he's invaluable to his team, but I don't see a world where he gets the most of other receivers or breaks any kind of record.
Nah, I mean, if he had stability at the quarterback position, maybe. Commanders have $21 million cap space. I mean, stability before Jaden Daniels, because you see the numbers that he put up. They could have been even better if he had, a better quarterback there. He played with like 5 or 6 different starters. No, I think of his numbers. He's just over 1,000 yards with the past 6 seasons or something like that. I mean, the top receivers getting paid about $35 million a year. You get him around 25 to 28. I think that's a good deal.
I forget Debo's there too.
Yep.
Not like routinely. I just, in this moment, I thought, well, and they have Debo, but I don't think about the Commanders receiver room a ton. In my mind, I'm like, oh, it's Terry McLaurin, and then they need to get him some help. But that's what they did this offseason.
Just got Debo.
What do you feel about the Commanders this year? Regression?
I got to prove it. We got to prove it, man. It was fun last year. Jaden played out of his mind. That defense was kind of suspect at times.
Yeah.
The defense can get better, and Jaden Daniels takes another step forward. Yeah, I see them being playoff contenders, but that's about it.
2 more stories here, both AFC teams. Let's head to Miami. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel in cut 10 sounds like a guy tired of answering questions about Jalen Ramsey.
Personally, and I would lump you into this with me, I don't give a about what I feel. I don't even really go down that road of how do I feel about it. My job is to react and control my controllables and make sure that people are moving in one direction appropriately. And so the business is business. The opportunity that business does provide in the off season is a rep to the team about handling noise. What do I define noise as? Noise is things that don't have to do with what actually you're there to do and you should be focused on doing because you'll be held accountable to do.
What'd you think about that?
That was a whole lot of nothing, man. There was something in there, but it was nothing, too. He, grabbed all the coaching cliches he can think of and said, okay, I'm just going to wrap this all around Jalen Ramsey's trade talk. What he should say is that, look, I'm just a head coach. I'm going to coach the guys who are here. Yeah. Head coaches don't have the ability to make things happen. They can influence things for sure, like we really want this guy, we don't want this guy. End of the day, it's up to the agent and the guys upstairs. But, yeah, that was a lot, man. That was a lot. I mean, that's who he is, though. He's kind of quirky and does his own thing. But I just heard a lot of cliches. He could have just kept that a little shorter.
It's an interesting response. He's asked, are you surprised it's taking so long to trade Jalen Ramsey? Answer, I don't give a blank what I feel. It's just not what I would have guessed as an answer to that question. But I don't know. Of course, I'm typically trying to read between the lines and figure out, well, how does he feel about Jalen? Is he frustrated? He sounds frustrated. Sounds frustrated it's taking so long. Wants to know what his team is going to look like.
Or he's just tired of talking about it, too.
That, too. Last story. ESPN's Peter Schrager thinks Anthony Richardson's shoulder injury, no surprise here, cut 22, could open the door for Daniel Jones to have a bounce-back season.
Comeback player of the year.
Tell me more.
I think he's going to win that starting job, and I think he's got a very good offense in Indianapolis and a fresh new place with a fresh new start. It's going to be him and Anthony Richardson, who's dealing with an injury right now. Jones is going to have the leg up in that competition coming in because of that. And I believe that he and Shane Steichen might be able to put together a season in what I believe is a watered-down AFC South after Houston. This guy could be the one that we're talking about, like we talked about with Darnold last year.
Now listen here, Bump.
Hey, I talked about this too. Before, we need to find the clip. Before Danny Dimes was with the Colts, I said, look, this is the perfect spot for him because he's the same type of player that Anthony Richardson is. If I get this one right too, okay, y'all need to address me differently. All right, I'm no longer Bump. I'm Sir Bump or something like that.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know. 866-979-3776.
Brock and Salk.
Coach McDonald, is there anything that could happen other than an injury between now and the beginning of the season that would lead to a different quarterback?
It's just a crazy question. There's just not going to happen. Like, Sam's our starting quarterback. I think it's funny that the media is out there for like the first day and all of a sudden they know exactly how good we're going to be and how good all the players are. And it's like, we don't even put on pads yet. Yeah, that was kind of a crazy question.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Mike Salk here with special guest Ryan Roland Smith. And we love having Hyphen on the show to talk a little baseball. But today, talking about something a bit more personal, yet really exciting. Hyphen, share all the good news.
Thanks, Mike. Look, I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and how you lost a ton of weight. I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds in just 60 days, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Well, I'm happy for you. What's been the best part of the program so far?
Honestly, how simple it's been. There's no crazy exercises, no counting calories or scary shots or injections, no side effects or any of that stuff. I feel healthier, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating delicious meals, and the accountability plus communication from the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic team has made it fun.
Man, that is awesome, buddy. Would you recommend it?
Yes. To anyone listening, I was in your shoes. Just schedule a 15-minute consult at Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's all you have to do to start.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Be a peach. Vote Mariners. The 2025 All-Star ballot is open, and Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure their spots at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote 5 times per day, every day, through June 26th at mariners.com/vote. Plus, with every ballot cast, you'll be entered for a chance to win the ultimate game day experience, featuring a meet and greet with a 2025 Mariners All-Star, batting practice passes at T-Mobile Park, and more. Vote now at mariners.com/vote. The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at MuckleshootCasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing, with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Spring is back. Our bats are back. Is your postnasal drip and congestion back as well? Hi, this is Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We are a proud national center of excellence for helping hundreds of patients with Rynair. For those of you sick of searching for another allergy medication, Rynair is a minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip, congestion, and stuffiness after only one treatment. Come see us in Auburn or Federal Way. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in. 866-979-3776. A little early today because we got the dugout coming up in 15 minutes, beginning with Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Then we're going to take a listen to the latest from Jeff Passan. We got Aaron Goldsmith and Alex Mayer joining us. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Do you ever watch the Pacers in their gold uniforms, squint your eyes, and pretend it's the Lakers? Good enough to make it to the finals. Bump. That question, I think, is for you.
That sounds like somebody who doesn't know what 5 championships feel like, you know?
Yeah.
Who doesn't know what 17 total championships
Don't forget that in-tournament
feel
championship,
like.
too.
And the in-tournament.
Yeah, that's the most important.
Season, yeah, it's, I mean, no, of course not, because no one could ever be the Lakers.
The in-season tournament.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. I mean, the Celtics have 18, so they can't be the Lakers.
That sounds like somebody whose baseball team has never been to a World Series.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. We don't have to keep the segment going. We can, you know what, Matt? We'll just go to commercial. We'll just go to silence. Everyone will sit here in silence and protest of Bump. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Do you think, come on now, do you think you could strike out Julio?
No.
Bump.
No.
Okay, because when you took that breath
I can
for a
get
minute.
one. I can.
I knew.
He can whiff at one.
I knew.
I
knew.
If I just got dressed up like a real pitcher.
No.
And he didn't see me throw. And he thought I was throwing heat.
No.
And I hit him with that 60-mile-an-hour changeup. He's going to whiff.
No,
He's going to be ready for that.
No way. There is 0% chance.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no.
You guys got to have more belief in yourselves, man.
Bump.
Come on.
Bump. How fast do you think you could throw a pitch?
I don't know, like 75 maybe.
We got to go for the next, when we have to go to the matinees, we got to get you to do the little pitch mile-per-hour tracker.
Okay.
I'm going to do it, too. I bet I could top 30.
I bet you could.
I bet I get top 40. Okay, I was seeing if you just go along with it.
Curtis probably got a cannon. Curtis,
do you know how fast you can throw a pitch?
I have not been clocked in a long time. In high school, it was like probably mid to upper 70s. I wasn't pumping it in there or anything.
Yeah. You don't really stop being an athlete, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I feel. 866-979-3776. Let's see. Will people be mad if I read this one? I'll be quick with it. If you were the writer or creator of a reality show, what kind of show would it be?
Mine, it'd be like Hard Knocks or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it'd be like Hard Knocks.
It'd basically just be Hard Knocks Seahawks.
You know, we'll do Hard Knocks High School edition. Yeah.
I would watch that. Just kind of like.
These kids are full of.
Isn't that kind of what QB1 is on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that QB1? No, that was one with the pros, right? Wasn't there another one?
QB1 was with like when Justin Fields was in high school.
Yeah.
And Tate Martell and all those guys.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be that.
Yeah. What I need to know is Stacy out partying late last night. I don't leave my house.
If by partying mean watching Love Island, then sure.
Then yeah. Well, it's at 6 p.m. I watch it every day. Ken Griffey Jr. versus Michael Jordan. Who wins in a golf match?
Griffey's swing is silky as heck, man. I don't know his full game. I know Jordan plays every day, though.
I think it might.
Every day. It might be Jordan.
I think
he
it
was
might be
playing
Jordan.
every day when he was playing basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Griffey taking pictures and stuff, man. He got things to do.
I fear that it might be Jordan.
Yeah. But whose swing is better is definitely Griffey's.
Yeah. Let's see. What I need to know. Oh, I just have one here. Oh, I was thinking of a reality show, but I couldn't think of one good thing now. What's your favorite Kirkland signature product? Everything.
White tees.
Oh, because they'll actually be delivered to you instead of the 5 for
like $35, $40. It was 10 actually.
See, that's the thing is it's borderline believable,
10, not 5,
and
10.
that's 10. That's where it's not believable. That's where it's not believable. 10 for $35.
You know what? They might show up today.
No, they'll never show up, Bump. They'll never show up. You will never get those T-shirts. Remember when someone texted in and said, the same thing happened to me, 7 pairs of pants for like $20. Stop it. Stop.
It was Black Friday.
Someone said Pacers have 3 titles. 70, 72, 70.
From the ABA. Wow. That'll date yourself.
Yeah. 866-979-3776. One social account has to go. Is it X, Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat?
Oh, Snapchat. Of those
I
four?
don't even have Snap.
Yeah.
No, those are for the young kids.
Snap is for the sneaky links and stuff, man.
I'm out of there with that. That's not. I don't remember the last time I even had an account.
Nah.
Second would be Facebook. That can go.
Once I kind of figured out like what it was all about, Snap, I was like, nah, it's safe for me.
No, the last one I get rid of is Twitter. That website is just too perfect. On a day, if a news story is prominent that everyone's watching it, like when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock across the face, that was one of the best nights on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like when you get the feeling that every single person is watching the same thing, and then the jokes come out. I know it was like a startling moment and all that, but it was like that's when Twitter is. Chef's kiss. That's exactly what it was made for.
Like when Diggs was on the boat, on the yacht, you know?
Yeah.
You know, this just gets out so quickly.
The Montgomery boat incident.
Yeah.
The boat incident was another one of those days. God, what was another great Twitter day? There's been a couple of them. Someone said all social media needs to go. It's bad for your health. But I bring it back to some of those days. 866-979-3776.
Oh, Stacy, we've had a audio message sent to the show. This comes to us from listener Willa in Auburn, Washington.
Stacy, drink more water.
Right? Even she knows.
Yeah.
Willa,
Stay hydrated with real water.
I feel like I was just shamed by a 4-year-old.
Yeah, you were.
You were.
I have a bottle of water, and Willa, it's pink.
Wow. Willow's got a couple pink.
Yeah, I
water
feel like I
bottles.
could convince her.
Yeah.
With
Her
that.
water isn't actually the bottle. The bottle isn't actually pink. It's the liquid in there that's pink.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
pink lemonade flavor. I don't know what flavor that is exactly, but it's pink flavor. 866-979-3776. Let's see. When was the last time you rode a train, Amtrak?
Never.
Never?
Nope.
It could be
Amtrak specifically? I don't
They
think I
just
ever
said
have.
Amtrak.
I take the Sounder to work every now and then. So
Sometimes it's nice.
I've never been on that either. The Sounder.
Well, I think I know your next
it's a cozy
adventure.
little ride.
Yeah.
You'd like it.
They don't. That thing don't go to Monroe.
Right. It only runs north-south.
2025 MLB All-Star Ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot on this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every day through June 26 at MLB.com/vote. The Dugout coming your way next.
Stacy, drink more water.
Seahawks' only mini camp of the offseason, and Seattle sports is there.
Always a fun conversation. Julian Love.
You see Eagles flying around, you can't be there. Live from the sidelines. All day today with Bump and Stacy live from VMAC beginning at 10 a.m.
Seahawks wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Does it feel weird to hear still?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it. Followed by Wyman and Bob at 2. All the way up to Mariners pregame at 5:30. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Hey 12, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Oh, it is the time of the season for pests. That's right. No one likes them. No one knows where they come from, but we can all agree no one wants them in their house. Mike Salk here for Crawl Pros, and they have a full-service pest control division now called Pest Pros. They can come to your house and do a full corner-to-corner inspection, take care of any problems, just like they did at my home. This is the time of the year you'll start seeing more ants in and around your home. You may also begin hearing a little buzzing outdoors. Bees, wasps, hornets. If they make a nest on your property, that is a huge nuisance. So please don't try to take care of those nests on your own. Simply call Pest Pros to have any nest removed and destroyed professionally before the problem grows or you and your guest ends up getting stung. Pest Pros is the full-service pest control division of Crawl Pros with eco-friendly treatments to keep ants, stinging insects, and all sorts of critters from making their way into your home. If you're worried about rodents, ants, or other bugs or an issue in and around your home, call Pest Pros or visit GoPestPros.com to schedule a free inspection at GoPestPros.com.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. One of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Ready for some summer hoops? Register your team for the July 12th and 13th Everett 3-on-3 tournament presented by Boeing. 4 players to a team, 2 days of exciting action, 1 incredible tournament. Players of all ages and abilities are encouraged to come out and play. Go to Everett3on3.net today and sign up your team. That's Everett3on3.net. A special thank you to event major sponsors Amazon, City of Everett, Snohomish County TPA, and Tulalip Resort Casino.
Emerald Queen Casino Event Center presents the main event. Powered by WFC, Saturday night, June 14th. A night of professional boxing where champions are made and every punch counts. Contenders from the region go toe-to-toe, ready to prove they belong at the top. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss Fight Night, June 14th at Emerald Queen Casino, the boxing capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Aaron Rodgers is married. That's news I was just told on the text line and saw confirmed with a tweet from Mike Garafolo, so I guess we knew what he was up to. Dan Wilson announced after yesterday's Mariners loss that Bryce Miller will head to the IL with a right arm injury. Logan Evans will get the start today for Seattle against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Pregame show at 5:30, first pitch at 6:40 p.m.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is The Dugout, every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy. Inside access to the clubhouse from Shannon Drayer on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
All Mariners 1-2, Shannon Drayer, Mariners insider for Seattle Sports, joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Shannon, how's it going?
It's pretty warm here, Stacy.
Hopefully the offense heats up too. Oh, wow, I couldn't help myself. Shannon, this is a team that gave us some stuff to love at the end of yesterday, and I will give a tip of the cap to them getting back in this one and trying to grind out a win. It just wasn't enough. I can't fault them for tying a game and sending it to extras, but I think it's fair for fans to be frustrated with overwhelmingly an underwhelming offensive performance that we've seen not just yesterday but for a while now. What changed? Where are the levers being pulled here? What looks different from the version of this offense that was pretty spectacular?
Well, obviously Jorge Polanco just kind of got left in the month of April. We don't know what happened there. I do think we're seeing some signs of life with the bat right now. We've seen him a little bit from the right side, and that has actually looked better in the little bit that we have seen him. He's actually been able to put the ball in the air, and I'm really hopeful today because his biggest problem has been he's been hitting everything from the left side straight into the ground. Last night, he came up empty in the at-bat, but his final at-bat, he pulled a couple of balls just foul down the right side in the air, line drives. I'm like, yes, he might be close. To see him, I think there were 3 that he actually put in the air. I'm hoping that he is able to, get the timing a little bit better tonight and perhaps be able to do the same. It looked like some of the line drives we were seeing from him in April, but it's been obviously a rough go for him. And when you looked at the numbers for the month of May, unfortunately, Polanco and Taveras were all like bottom 10 in like 230 hitters in OPS and WRC plus. So that takes a big bite out of what you're trying to do. Julio was doing well, but he's striking out again over the last 2 weeks. You know, he got through May with a strikeout percentage just over 12, and over the last couple of weeks, he's back up at 30. What's going on there? He's taking some of the swings we haven't seen him take before, and that kind of leads me to wonder if, you know, he's getting a little jumpy at the plate. Is it the pressure? Is he feeling he needs to do more right now? I don't know, but you want to get back to May Julio, because that seemed to be a Julio that was on the right path. So there are a lot of things offensively that have been going on. You're missing Luke Raley. I think that's kind of a big loss for this team. You have 2 rookies in the lineup, and that we've talked about how this lineup is at its best when it's a 1 through 9, when you have got threats in all parts of the lineup. And you haven't. As they're getting their footing under them, you really haven't. Bottom third has not been something that you've really needed to worry about too much, although we're starting to see those hits come from them. We've had a couple of games on this road trip where production has come from the bottom of the order, and that's an encouraging sign. So you're happy to see that. And then the last thing, you know, I would go back to, we've talked about all the pitcher injuries they've had and the impact that that has had. You've had so many player position injuries or position player injuries as well. And, you know, to expect the guys that you had as backups to be full-time players and platoon players, meaning that they're playing at least half-time, I think they kind of ran out of gas a little bit. And I think you're going to need help on that end. You're just really not getting any production from the substitutions, and Dan makes them quite a bit. Now, we did see that last night in the 9th inning, and that was great. But, you know, the home run that was hit by Dom Canzone was only the 4th extra base hit that was hit by a sub this year. And there have been a lot of substitutions. So a lot going on. I do think some of the bats are starting to come around, but, you know, they've got to show it in the game, and they've got to be able to get, you know, the ball over to the left a couple inches more and have those drop in for doubles rather than outs.
Hey, Shannon, what do you think the solution is with the bullpen, right? We're all GMs and trying to figure out, all right, what do they do at the trade deadline? Arms, is it a bat? Is it this? Is it that? What are the issues you see with the bullpen, and how do you think they address it?
Well, I think there are 2 things. I am always add to the bullpen. I think bullpens are so important and really just an easy way to improve a team. And I think, you know, when you are struggling to score runs, every run is precious. You've got to protect those runs. And so I think that you are in a spot right now where you, because your starters have had a little bit of a problem throughout the month of May and getting deep into games, and because you've been playing behind a lot, the bullpen is in no kind of rhythm whatsoever. I mean, we've seen Andres Munoz sit for 5, 6, 7 days a few times now over the last 3 weeks. That's not an easy thing for a reliever. And conversely, we've seen them lean on other pitchers like Gabe Vargas quite a bit more than they had in the first month. So everything is just kind of out of, I don't want to say, so, well, yeah, out of sync when you don't have the offense, when you don't have the starting pitching. It's going to kind of land on the bullpen a little bit. And, you know, it is their job to be ready at any time. But I think there are times, and I think that everybody does kind of operate a little bit better when they have a better idea of when they're going to pitch and when they are pitching more consistently than when they are pitching right now. And when you aren't winning, you're going to different parts of the bullpen than you're worrying, or the other guy is going to be a little rusty when they come in. Matt Brash, I think last night, we were kind of really discussing last night, and why didn't they go to Matt Brash? Why did they send Vargas back out for a second inning? And we kind of came to the consensus, because Matt Brash was up in that game, that because he is coming off of the injury, because it is a back-to-back, the only way he was probably going to be used if it was at the end of the game, if there was a run to be saved, that they probably were not going to bring him in still in a tie game. And they decided to roll the dice with Vargas in a very tough part of the lineup, and they ended up paying for it. But I think if you get a month from now and Brash has done the back-to-backs, the surgery and the rehab and everything else is that much further behind him, I think you're going to be able to use him and Andres Munoz more like you would like to. And then at that point, you know, you're hoping that you are, you know, winning more frequently, that you are getting more consistent work for your bullpen, and hopefully, you know, guys get back kind of into regular routines of pitching in games, feel more comfortable out there, and it pays off. And at some point, I think you have to add to it.
Unfortunately, the Astros facing a pretty easy, not easy, but very winnable stretch of baseball, and I'd hate to see them build on this lead. Where are the opportunities that lie ahead for Seattle here?
Well, I think the biggest opportunity for Seattle is just go out there you're going to hate hearing this. Focus on the game right in front of you. There's a lot that they have to get right. And I don't think it's worth looking over your shoulder, behind you, in front of you, anywhere right now. You've got to look at what you are right now and how you get back to something closer to what you saw at the beginning. And the good news is they've kind of done it. They've seen it. So hopefully with a return of Logan Gilbert getting closer, perhaps with Luke Raley getting closer, maybe some more answers on Bryce Miller and solidifying that rotation a little bit more so, you know where it's going to be over the next couple of months. I think all of those things can help. So, it's not so much who you're going to be playing. I know the Guardians are coming into town, and they can be a very hot and cold team. They're coming off a rough series, but, they've always been tough against the Mariners. The Red Sox, we talk about the two rookies that the Mariners have in their lineup. They're playing now with three. One of them is the top prospect in baseball. It'll be interesting to see him. But, as we have seen, it sometimes can take a while for those players to settle in. So I think there's some opportunities there. And then I think you're going to see some challenges in what has been a surprising Cubs team on the road at Wrigley. 3-day games, all 11:20 starts, and so the body clock's going to be a little bit off for all of them on that one. But hopefully the sun will be shining, the ivy will be out, and they'll be inspired to play good baseball.
Dan Wilson, what are we, 60-something games in now? What's the biggest change you've seen out of him? Whether it be, I don't know, emotionally, strategy-wise, is a big change you've seen?
Wow. I don't know that I have. I think that what has been his strength inside that clubhouse has been his consistency. And I do think that sometimes in some of these losses, you see a little bit more of a furrowed brow than you did in May, but not much. He is going to unfailingly be kind of pumping the team up as much as he possibly can. He's going to be looking forward. And I don't think we've seen huge changes. It was good to see Cal Raleigh batting third yesterday. And, assured batting in that first inning and perhaps getting an extra at bat and perhaps being in position if the lineup flips over to drive in some runs. I think that was kind of a big change. But as far as the day-to-day, I really haven't seen a lot with him. I think his hallmark is going to be consistency.
We're going to take a listen to some Jeff Passan cuts following our conversation with you, and one of them is going to be about the value that this team is getting from Julio and about overall expectations for Julio. Have you found that yours have shifted for Julio at all? Down, up, either way?
Yeah, I would say my appreciation for Julio has grown. I do think that when we looked at him, I think it's a mistake to look at the contract. And now I'm sure you've seen the articles that have been out there that have said, he's not overpaid. This is what, this type of player gets. And I don't think it's ever really fair to evaluate a player because of what a team chose to give them. You evaluate a player on what they are able to do on the field and their readiness for it. And, hopefully, they are always prepared and what they bring to the team along those lines. And I think Julio is. I do think we're seeing a hiccup right now with what we're seeing with his, all of a sudden his plate discipline has sort of gone out the window, but it hasn't been for a long time. But what I really like and what I see from him, and I keep waiting for that next step, is you see him absolutely kind of just contributing to total victories. You are seeing Gold Glove defense in the outfield. You are seeing him use his legs again, like he's hungry. He gets on base and he wants more. Sometimes he gets picked off. That's not good, but other times, and most of the time, he's aggressive on the bases again, and I love seeing that. You saw for a good amount of time a very disciplined approach at the plate, and I think he can get back to that. And the thing that we haven't really seen from him is we haven't seen him pull the ball in the air, with authority, and that's what we want to see. And so I keep thinking that when you look at him and when he seems like he's in a good place and he's going to continue to take steps forward, that's kind of the last hurdle because that pop is in there. That we've had, multiple seasons where it's been a slow start, and I don't think this was a slow start. I think this has been a different start, and I do think he's contributing. But you do see those months where he has been able to take over entire ball games and take over a month. And you hope that that's in there. And you see it even with the better plate discipline and even with being more patient in his approach, in that he is going to go up there and be an aggressive hitter, but he is not going to chase hits And I think that is what we have seen up until these last couple of weeks. You think that, apparently with the athleticism that he has, with the strength that he has, that it is going to line up and you're going to see more baseballs go out of the ballpark. To me, that's kind of the only thing that's missing, for the majority of what we've seen this year.
She's Mariners insider Shannon Drayer, kind enough to join us on the dugout. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
Latest from Jeff Passan coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and you've heard about my success losing 35 pounds in just 8 weeks with the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan. I know you've heard from Ryan Rowland Smith as well. Well, now I want you to hear from someone just like you, a Seattle sports listener. Chad, who lives in the South Sound, he joins me now. Chad, how much weight did you lose?
I lost about 20% of my total body weight. I was down 43 pounds from the start of the reduction phase till it ended.
43 pounds. My gosh, how'd that make you feel? Would you recommend it?
Fantastic. Confident, first and foremost, for me. Much more confident, and then also just healthier, just easier to do things around the house, easier to do things at work. I would 100% recommend it. I can promise you'll lose the weight you want to lose.
Well, that's another ringing endorsement for Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Yep, Chad started his journey with just a 15-minute phone call. You can schedule yours today at eastsideweightlossklinic.com. Have the same kind of success I did, the same kind of success as Ryan, and the same kind of success as Chad. Go to eastsideweightlossklinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C., results may vary.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Jeff Passan was on with Brock and Salk this morning. A lot to take away. We have some that we got to a little bit earlier in the show and some fresh ones for you, so let's dive into some new ones. Let's talk about Cal Raleigh. There's a lot to love, obviously, about what Cal's doing. A historic season this guy's mounting, and one of the most impressive things, cut number 19 to Jeff Passan, is how rare it is for those righty-lefty splits to be so even.
Very rare. You tend to see with switch hitters that there is a strong side and a weaker side. And sometimes you have it where, like with Ozzie Albies, for example, much better contact and consistency on the left side, but a lot of thunder on the right side. And with Cal Raleigh, he just looked like a guy who, I'm not going to say was going to go the route of Cedric Mullins, who was a switch hitter when he came to the big leagues and was so much better from the left side that he just started hitting from the left side. But there was a clear distinction in those two areas for Cal Raleigh. And the fact that he has improved his right-handed swing to the extent that he has is incredibly impressive, among many, many incredibly impressive things he's done.
I feel like every day, much less every week that goes by, there's something else that we hear about Cal where, maybe what's happened. Like, we all knew that Cal had worked so much on the right side, and we were seeing those improvements. To apply that context of, no, this is how exceptionally rare this is, I don't know that we ever see this kind of season again.
I don't know. It's going to be tough to top, man. I mean, from the left side, he's 299, 341, 662 slugging, 1,000 OPS. From the right side, 250, 386, 631 slug, 1,000 OPS. He's got 18 bombs from the right, 8 from the left, 39 RBIs from the right, 14 from the left. It's just it's impressive, man. And you don't even it doesn't even matter what side he's on. We're all expecting the same results at this point. So I think that is a clear indication that he's getting it done. And then you look at the numbers, man. OPSing over 1,000 from both sides of the plate. Is impressive, man, and I hope he just stays healthy and keeps doing what he's doing because his team needs it.
We've seen a wildly impressive season from Julio Rodriguez before. Because of that, coupled with the hype that he has as a prospect, a lot of people have felt kind of disappointed in one way or another since then. I'm going to couple two cuts together. So we're going to go with 21, and then I'll go ahead and toss to 25. So first, about how Jeff Passan is kind of viewing Julio right now, cut 21.
When it comes to Julio, I am perpetually running into the problem of comparing what he is to what I and plenty of others wanted him to be. We wanted him to be Corbin Carroll, and instead he might just be like a very good player. And there's nothing wrong with what Julio Rodriguez is doing right now. He is an above average hitter. He is a very, very good defensive center fielder.
Before we get to 25, when we're going to talk about whether or not he's worth his contract and what that value is with Julio, I'm just going to hit pause and say about Jeff's point, the Mariners don't have a lot of really good players. I'm okay with Julio being one.
You're okay with him? I think he can still be a really good player. They don't have great players. Like, Cal's having a great season.
Yeah.
I think he can still be really good and be fine. He has to be really good for this team to be fine. And really good to me isn't like Griffey, because I think that's
right.
Our measuring
Generationally
stick.
good.
He has to be as good as Griffey. No, he can be really good and make some all-star teams.
Yeah.
Win some Gold Gloves, steal a bunch of bases. Just be an active not even role player, and just an active leader and a guy you can expect to make plays on this team. Yeah, I'm starting to settle into that. And I told you after this year, Stacy, I go, this was it for me. After 4 years, I'm going to accept him for who he is and meet him there so I can support him properly.
Let's talk about value. Go to cut 25. Here's Jeff.
I might be different than others, Brock, because I don't look at that contract as like an anchor. I don't view him through the lens of that contract in the same way that, say, I look at Juan Soto. Because I don't think the contract, considering what he had shown, who he was going to be, was ridiculous by any means. And I beyond that, I don't think the Mariners are hamstrung by that contract. Mm-hmm. If you're paying Julio Rodriguez what you're paying him right now for the level of production he's providing, you're happy with that. Like you're okay. Just take out all of the expectations, take out all of the projections, and just look at raw numbers here. Salary versus wins above replacement. Julio Rodriguez's contract is perfectly good.
Okay, this is what's interesting to me about what happens if Julio just ends up being very good, but not like elite MVP caliber player. It almost has forced the Mariners' hand into signing a contract that they otherwise never would have. The Mariners like to extend or keep players where they're like, this is our franchise guy. This is a generational talent. This guy is going to take us to the promised land. This is our linchpin to this organization. Ideally, it was going to be Kelnick Julio. Instead, right now, it's become Cal and Julio. And then they're going to find our opportunities to sign maybe cheaper, older players to short-term deals to kind of pad the rest of that lineup. How many contracts can you think of off the top of your head where it's like they gave multi-year contracts to solid players? You know what I mean? Like, they don't really, those are the contracts that people look at the Dodgers, whoever else giving out, and it feels like an overpay, or it feels like them, you know, doing whatever. But like, those are that upper middle class kind of contract. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that this year, no matter what happens, as far as the team collectively, right? Go to the playoffs, not go to the playoffs, whatever. The year that Julio has this year will hopefully allow the organization to know how to better support the squad. Because what are they banking on? Guarantee they're banking on Julio being an MVP type of dude.
Yes.
I don't think they were banking on Cal having the season that he was having, but they thought Julio could be that guy with the support of Cal. So maybe that's why they looked at the roster and said, this could be enough because Julio's going to do X, Y, and Z. Julio hasn't been able to do that. Still a very good baseball player. So maybe this will give some type of perspective of who they really are as far as their core members. JP's going to get on base. Cal's going to hit some bombs. Julio's going to be an above-average player. All right, how do we really support those guys? Because there's no way they're going to come back next year and expect Cal to have the year that he's having this year. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime type of deal for Cal. So that's where my head is as far as the positive, right? The positive of Julio not being the superstar you thought or we thought he could be gives you intel and allows you to better construct a roster to support your talent.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you got to wait and figure out exactly what it's going to be. I don't know how many instances the Mariners would have signed, like, let's say Teoscar Hernandez was on a hot streak, and he's not like a guy that allows you to get really cheap elsewhere because he's not good enough to carry a team, but he's still an important part of a good lineup. Like, they kind of try their best to avoid those guys because they can be costly. For a team that has budget constraints, those guys can be costly. But that's where they may end up with Julio. And I know that can feel frustrating for fans, but excellent defense. He's an amazing center fielder, brings amazing defense. And there is still a world. He's only 24 years old where he does figure it out.
Maybe they feel better about that with Julio because he's theirs. You know, he's a homegrown type of kid. Let's keep him here. He's a pillar in what we're doing. I think it's harder for them to look outside of the organization and say, oh, let's grab him and hold him down for a few years. For some reason, they're not comfortable with those moves.
Wally from Snoqualmie said Nelson Cruz. That's what I'm talking about. Like a guy where it's like they're not building an entire roster around him. He's a really impactful bat, and that's a richer contract than they normally dole out. I don't know. It's just an interesting situation they may have found themselves in, and that's not a knock on Julio, but it's just I think we're still waiting to see what that potential can be, whether he'll ever meet it. We're going to continue this conversation, continue to preview this series with Mariners broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith. He joins us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot. We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
We're joined now by Mariners broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Aaron, how's it going?
Stacy, Bump, great to be with you. How you guys doing?
We're good. We're just
horrible. Horrible.
Look, I wish the Mariners were winning. I wish that we were talking about a team coming off a win. I wish this team was still in first place, but a lot to talk about still. We've been kind of dissecting the lineup, dissecting the team, talking about some of the interesting storylines within it. And Julio will always be one of those to both of us, to many fans, for good reason. We earlier took a listen to some sound from ESPN's Jeff Passan, who said, well, maybe Julio is just really, really good. And for him, he was like, that's okay with me. But then we had people texting in saying, he's so young, like, give him time to grow. Have your expectations for Julio changed at all over the course of his career?
Well, that's a good question. I think to start with, and I think you touched on this, I think for a lot of people, and I understand why, but for a lot of people, like, until Julio lifts an MVP and a World Series trophy, it won't be good enough.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. Like, there are a lot of really good players who haven't touched either one of those. And maybe both those things will happen for Julio. Maybe one of them will. He is still very young. And I think he has obviously yet to prove that he can put together a truly elite season, which is what so many people want. And when I say season, I mean start to finish, right? But he still remains a very good player. And I think we all know kind of what his trajectory has looked like every season. It's like we kind of forget that this is just kind of what happens with Julio. Like, he Starts off slow, gets warmer, and then gets like magma hot at some point in the summertime. And for me, like, it is funny when I looked at Corbin Carroll and I looked at Julio Rodriguez last night in game one and just looked at their numbers. Carroll's batting like 6 points higher than Julio. He's striking out more than Julio. The difference is he has almost twice as many home runs. I mean, Julio's been hitting the ball a lot, especially recently. But his last 20 hits or so, 18 of them have been singles or in that neighborhood. For me, it's just a matter of, can Julio get to a point where he can start lifting the ball in the air more often? And when that happens, I think everything will get unlocked, because we know how hard he hits the ball. He's making more contact now than he ever has in his career. And once he can start pulling the ball, or just getting the ball in the air more, and preferably pulling it, now you're going to see, I think, what everybody expects from him, which is that 30 to 40 home run mark, which, to be fair to him, he has had a 30 homer season, but people want to see it every year from him because he's Julio Rodriguez.
You just made me feel a lot better there, Goldie. You did. Then I pull up Corbin's stats and compare them to Julio's, and Corbin has them on almost every category, but it's not by much, and people adore this young man. So yeah, I feel better. I appreciate that. Is there anyone on this roster that you feel, might be turning the corner, right? There's a roster full of role players. We understand that. Cal's having the crazy season. Julio is a good player. JP's doing what he's doing. But is there someone on this roster, it could be in the pitching staff, the bullpen, whoever, that you feel like, all right, they're starting to figure some things out too?
Well, I even though the wins wouldn't indicate it, I do think that there have been a number of hitters, even on just this road trip, where you're starting to see the tide turn a little bit in the right direction. Rosarena is one. Ben Williamson has had a nice little heater well before the road trip. His last call at 15 games or so, he's batting well over 300. It's not an impactful 300 because, like Julio, he hits the ball on the ground a lot. He almost never walks, and he doesn't hit for much power. But when you're batting ninth, do you need all that? No, of course you want it, but I think if you have your number 9 hitter hitting over 300 in a 2-week stretch, there's not a single manager in the game that won't take that. And obviously, he's been in the show for less than 2 months. So I think there's a little grace afforded there. Donovan Solano, even if people don't want to hear it, Solano has been very good in the last couple of weeks or so. So, I mean, I do think that there are a number of offensive players. But, I mean, the bottom line is the Mariners are not walking like they were. They're not hitting home runs like they were. And when I say like they were, I mean, like, it's not especially close to what it was in April when everything was sunshine and lollipops. In April, the Mariners led baseball in walk rate. They were 3rd in home runs. Since the beginning of May, they're 26th in walk rate, and they're 16th in home runs. And that's while having the game's home run leader on the roster. So that's what it comes down to. The walks and the home runs, that was the formula. Can there be another formula? Yeah, there's a lot of ways to win a ball game in the big leagues, but that worked to a T for the Mariners, and they need to get back to some version of that in order to get back to some version of what we saw in April.
It always feels like a fascinating but also pointless exercise to try to figure out what's going wrong with the team. Like when everyone's hitting well or when the offense is really great, you're like, oh, I'll tell you what's going on. Vibes. You got Edgar. Kevin Seitzer's doing a great job, right? It becomes a conversation about, like, man, who do you even point to first? There's so much to explain this. And then, meanwhile, when everyone struggles, I fall into the same thing I was feeling last season when everyone struggled, which is you go, well, God, when it's everyone, I don't quite know. When the whole offense as a whole is tumbling, well, except for Cal, I guess, you don't quite know what to pin it on. Aaron, I don't know how else to ask this question except to say, is this just sometimes baseball? Like, is what we're seeing just classic rut, or is there a bigger problem here the Mariners need to solve?
Well, I do think it's important to not ride the wave, right? That's a really hard thing for all of us to avoid doing, is getting too up when things are great and too low when a Major League Baseball team loses 5 straight games, right? Which, like, look through history. How many big league ball teams have won the World Series and lost 5 in a row in a season, or 7 of 10, right? And it happens to every team. The concern at this point now for the Mariners is that since the start of May, they are 15-20. And in that same stretch of time, the Astros are 20-15. I'm not a big standings guy in the middle of June, but for the Mariners, in what does feel like a division that it's kind of 1v1, right? It's really the Mariners and the Astros right now. Could the Rangers, with their great pitching, could their offense wake up and come alive and make a surge? Absolutely, they could. But as we talk right now, it's the Mariners and it's the Astros. The Astros are starting a 3-game series today against the White Sox. The Mariners need to be in a spot where they do not fall too far behind, right? Because what we've seen a pattern from the Mariners for a long time now is at some point they either being buried is maybe too strong, but they fall behind to a significant enough margin where now in your last 30, 45 games of the season, it's a full sprint and it feels like every game you got to get. And the Mariners have to be able to, when you're in a rut, raise the floor up enough so that you can at least, in this case, get a series win in Arizona, have a 500 road trip, right? You don't bury yourself and you come back home where you're going to play some good teams. And the Guardians, I know the Red Sox have had their troubles, but they always seem to play the Mariners tough, where you at least can not have to dig out of too much of a hole and you can start building some forward momentum. I mean, that's how I see the Mariners right now. They do have offensively, J.P. Crawford is swinging it about as well as he ever has minus 2 years ago, right? I mean, he is top 5 in baseball, maybe top 6 on on-base percentage. He's reaching base multiple times every game. You can't ask for more out of your leadoff hitter than what J.P. Crawford is giving you right now. You have an MVP candidate, truly. Like if Aaron Judge didn't exist, Cal Raleigh could be the MVP of the American League, right? And you need somebody else to kind of get hot, get something going, have some impact offensively. And if that can happen and you can find some length in your rotation, Mariners have had a lot of short starts by their standards. We don't see a lot of 6-inning starts, 6+ inning starts from the Mariners rotation this year, especially recently, and we all know why. Then I think this ball can start moving forward. Those are kind of the things that I'm looking for the Mariners to start checking off the list sooner rather than later.
Obviously, we got the news of Bryce Miller going down. If this would have happened earlier in the season, Goldie, I would feel differently. Right now, I feel okay. I think Logan has shown that he can handle this. Obviously, we're not excited about the situation, but what does Logan bring to the table? What do you need to see from him tonight?
Well, his last start was maybe the best start by a Mariner outside of what we just saw from George Kirby in Los Angeles. I think for Logan Evans, put the Mariners in a position to win a ball game tonight. And we know Logan Gilbert is on the way back. So this could very likely be a very short time back in the big leagues for Logan Evans. But credit to the Mariners that they've had 2 starting pitchers of depth in Hancock and Evans that they have been able to lean on this year, and obviously lean on more than anyone realistically anticipated when pitchers and catchers reported back in February. But both those guys have pitched very well. And Hancock, I mean, man, you can't ask for a guy to take the ball and run with it more than Emerson Hancock has this year. He has been so steady Eddie in that rotation. It's been a big boost for the Mariners. And not only has it been huge for him and his career and his confidence, but it has been absolutely needed by this franchise right now.
He is Mariners broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline for the Dugout. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
You got it, guys.
See ya. The 2025 MLB All-Star Ballot is open, and Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. Here's the good news. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every single day through June 26th, so you know what to do. Go to MLB.com/vote and cast your votes now, all 5.
Hey.
Yeah.
Relax.
Look.
We're almost done.
We're almost there. This is the Dugout. Alex Vera joining us next.
It's the Seahawks' only mini camp of the offseason, and Seattle sports is there.
Always a fun conversation. Julian Love.
You see Eagles flying around, you can't beat it.
Live from the sidelines, all day today, with Bump and Stacy live from VMAC beginning at 10 a.m.
Seahawks wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Does it feel weird to hear still?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it.
Followed by Wyman and Bob at 2, all the way up to Mariners pregame at 5:30. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle sports on 710 in the Seattle Sports app.
Jake was suffering from osteoarthritis when his doctors asked him to consider surgery.
However, there's a 9-month recovery period where essentially you're not walking and you're not putting
much in the way of weight on.
That wasn't going to work for him, so he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the ads, and that caused me to do due diligence.
And how are you doing now?
There's not really any pain now at all. I have no limitations in what I want to do.
Wow, so you're able to do anything you want to do?
I recently played golf at Cycle House down in Pebble Beach, walked 18 holes, which I hadn't been able to do for a number of years, and then went for about a 2-mile walk with my friend.
I take it you'd recommend stem cell therapy to others then?
Absolutely. Had I known then what I know now, I would have done this several years ago and saved myself a lot of pain and suffering and agony and limitation to activity.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new, and First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, it's Alex Mayer. Alex, how's it going?
It's going well, Stacy. How are you guys?
Good. We obviously want to talk a bit about this offense. I know that they didn't get the win last night, but they did get back into this one thanks to a home run from Dom Canzone, recently called back up to the big league team. You found out something very interesting about Dom. What was it?
Yeah. Like you said, I wish it could have been, a game-winning stat that the Mariners would have pulled the game out last night. I did find that Dom Canzone became the first Mariner with a game-tying or go-ahead home run in the 9th inning or later against his former team, the D-backs, since Omar Narvaez did it against the White Sox in 2019, if you remember that name. And then I peeled it back a layer, and Canzone played his first ever game against the Diamondbacks last night. First Mariner to do it in his first game against his former team in franchise history.
That's baseball history.
Love it. And the bat bat flip was swaggy,
a good
too.
one.
It was swaggy.
Yeah, that was historical as well.
Yeah, I love that. We know Kyle's going to be an all-star, right? And I think we've settled on the Bump and Stacy show that 2 are going to be all-stars. How many do you think are going to be all-stars this year?
Yeah, no, that's a good one, Bump. I think Cal is probably the most obvious all-star in the history of mankind just because of what he's been able to do at the catcher position this season, 26 home runs, leads catchers in basically everything, and ranks up there among all players in basically every offensive statistics. But I was looking at different players and where they rank among their positions in the league, and I think Julio Rodriguez seriously has a good shot to make the All-Star game this year. And you might think like, oh, well, Julio's not putting up the numbers he might be capable of or whatever. But if you really look at the stats, he ranks second among American League outfielders in WAR. That's Baseball Reference and Fangraphs WAR to only Aaron Judge. I've looked at some of the numbers. Among AL outfielders, Julio ranks 7th in total bases, 6th in hits, 4th in stolen bases. And then if you want to get more on the metric side, he's 1st in defensive runs saved, 3rd in outs above average. Obviously, a lot of that WAR equation factors in the defense, which he plays magnificent defense in center field. But I challenge anyone to find an American League outfielder not named Aaron Judge who's had a clear-cut better season than Julio up to this point.
What do you find so fascinating about the American League this year? I mean, shoot, Alex, that could be one of them, right? I mean, it's such a it's a really weird juxtaposition to the National League right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you don't really know who's good yet, as lame as that sounds. 162-game season. We're just over 1/3 of the way through it, and there's a lot of parity. I think Detroit, to some people's surprise, is the best team in the American League this year, but then a bunch of close races. And, yeah, I mean, you said it, like the National League has had more standouts this year.
The Logans are back. The Evans and Gilbert.
Yeah. Logan update.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
What's the Lolo on the Logans?
Ooh.
Wow, very nicely done. Wow. I'm actually jealous I didn't think of that. Yeah, Logan Evans. Logan Evans starts tonight for the Mariners in Arizona as they look to get back on track. Obviously, Logan had a really good first 6 starts up here and finished it with the 8 innings before getting optioned just due to kind of that shuffled rotation. You know how the game works sometimes. It's not fair, but he's back. I'm excited to see him pitch. And then Logan Gilbert makes his 3rd rehab start tonight for the Rainiers. I'll actually be down in Tacoma. I'm looking forward to being at Cheney for that one, but hopefully Logan's last or just about last rehab start before he hopefully joins the rotation at some point soon. So yeah, Logan Square, that's good stuff.
Now, unfortunately, the Mariners did not get a win last night, but Mormons did because you and Curtis noticed a really interesting matchup.
Yep.
What did you see?
Yeah. Shout out to super producer Curtis there. So Jeff Brigham, the Diamondbacks pitcher, who actually is a UW product. Sorry, Bump. And from around here, faced Cole Young. So we had the Brigham Young matchup, which was incredible. I had a few texts and social media mentions on that one, but I think Curtis was on it before I was. I actually did some digging solely for this show to find if there was ever a batter-pitcher matchup that created a D1 school name. I found some fun ones, but I think it was the first of its kind. I really do. I could say with like 99% certainty. Some of the fun ones I found were there have been a few pitchers and position players with the first name George to face off against a Mason or a Washington. Nice. So that, of course, is in reference to the East Coast universities, George Mason and George Washington U. And then this one's a good one. In the 1930s, there was a pitcher named Oral Hildebrand. He was actually an all-star for the 1933 Cleveland Indians, but he never faced a Roberts, so we never had an Oral Roberts matchup, the university in Tulsa. That's about all I got there, but Brigham Young, baseball history.
We got to bring back 30s names.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Alex, you came through in ways that I can't even imagine. That was exactly what I wanted from you when I teed you up last night.
Amen, man. Oral Hildebrand. Look him up.
There's got to be a George Fox out there. It's a small D3 school in Oregon, but there has to have been a George Fox matchup
Oh, yeah. That's
Now
a
we
good
got to have
one.
Alex
I only-
expand it to D2, D3.
Thanks for taking up my
FBS.
afternoon. I only did D1.
Okay, now we're going to talk to just to analyst Alex, and what are you going to be watching for in these next 2 games? Obviously, fingers crossed, we want to see a series win against the Diamondbacks, of course. But is there a player in particular, a matchup in particular that you have your eyes on, Alex?
Ooh, that's a good one. Like I said, looking forward to watching Logan Evans pitch tonight. I think we said Julio earlier in the show. I think Julio, he's kind of on the brink right now of possibly being an all-star to represent the American League. So maybe seeing him string together some games and some series and some weeks like we're so accustomed to seeing him put together. We all know that like a hot Julio can be the hottest hitter in Major League Baseball. So looking forward to seeing him hopefully continue to hit with more production. And then I want to shout out JP Crawford because I think he's been like low key at times, really, really good and really productive. He's got a 10-game on base streak, and almost all those games has reached base multiple times, and ranks among the top leadoff hitters in baseball in just about every statistic, including on base percentage. So JP's been really clutch for the Mariners.
Hey, Alex, before we let you go, just out of curiosity, we've asked you a version of this before, but since it's been several weeks since then and all the more stats to look at, has there ever been, because you're so good at this, like finding these really, not just really fun stats and fun patterns that come up, but also just, finding really unique ones. Has there ever been something you found that you had to quadruple check because you just thought there's no way this is true? There's no way I've stumbled across this. I need to make sure this is right.
Oh gosh. Right off the top of my head, I had a stat when we won our 29th game on the road in Houston last road trip. Cal was in my head because he had the game-winning hit in the late innings against the Astros. And I'm like, let me take a look at our 29th win in the last few years, or basically since number 29, Cal Raleigh came up. And I went and looked, and it turned out that number 29 had the game-winning RBI in each of the last 3 years in our 29th win, including a walk-off in 2023. So that one was pretty magnificent. And I know Cal isn't on Twitter, but it somehow got back to him. And he pulled me aside in the clubhouse the next day. He's like, "How the hell did you find that one, Mayor? Are you making that up?" And I'm like, "No, I'll pull up box scores on you if you want to see it." But that's probably the one, number 29 getting the game-winning RBI and win number 29 3 straight years.
How the hell did you find that one, Mayor, though? It has to be something that we all kind of wonder every once in a while when we see these stats. Just, Alex, how? He is Alex Mayer, one of our absolute favorites on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, this has been The Dugout. Thank you again to our guests. If you missed it, Aaron Goldsmith is going to break up the final hour of Bump and Stacy previewing this series. We've also got Shannon Drayer kicking off Hour 1, a.k.a. Hour 4 of Bump and Stacy. And this has been The Dugout. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news this August. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Big Trees has certified arborists and site experts who help you select the right trees for the right location on your property. When Big Trees installs a tree, we offer a 1-year warranty and 1 free aftercare visit from a board-certified master arborist. To learn more about our process, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly